We'll be live in -2, -3, negative... Oh, shit, we're live. That's how the countdown works, right?
No.
That's how the countdown works.
That went in no particular direction.
Yeah. All right. Well, hello, Internet, and welcome back to Drink to the Past. Somebody remind me to tweet about us being live. I have so much crap on my desk right now because of this stupid... I forgot to tweet. Okay, we have to tweet. This is the important part of the podcast where for the first few minutes we're just kind of talking about stupid stuff on YouTube. This is the YouTube exclusive part where we post about the podcast on Twitter for your listening enjoyment or something. That's what you enjoy listening to, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, anyways, welcome back to Drink to the Past. Yeah, we've got a couple of special guests. I'll introduce them as soon as we start the audio version, as soon as I tweet about being live, so that all of you can find us.
Or you could
live.
retweet my tweet.
Or I could do that, except for then that would require me to look at my phone, which I just tweeted, so I'm putting it down. Ha ha! Alright, now I have too much crap around. Still. Okay, what was I doing? Okay, we're gonna start the audio version now. So, Chris, are you ready for the real theme song?
I'm ready for the real theme song.
Okay, the real theme song is actually just the sound of a beer opening. So, ready in 3, 2... Wait, hold on. I gotta find the button which is behind the TV because my setup is stupid. Okay, hold on. 3, 2, 1. This bottle opener can't get around the big bottle cap.
Man, that really is better on a hot summer night.
What you drinking there, Chris?
Raspberry milk stout.
Shit, this bottle
It's
opener
kind of
won't
got
even
like,
open.
it's like a stout and a
There it goes.
fruit beer.
Oh, yeah, is that the one from Left Hand that I had last week when you weren't here and then I rubbed hot sauce in my eyes?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. So anyways, now let's get to the other part. The ubiquitous opening monologue. Hello, Internet. My name is Spammelman. As always, your host of Drink to the Past, the only podcast where I have a chance to drink something stupider than rubbing hot sauce in my eyes. Also, share, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications every Friday when we go live on YouTube. I am joined by co-host and or guests. This is, of course, my co-host, Chris, as always.
Hi, I'm Chris. Can't remember his own last name, Audette.
And, of course, we've got 2 special guests this week, so that should be fun. We've got Chipz N Stix.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
I am back.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime, buddy.
Appreciate it.
And also returning is Usmania, except Chris wasn't here the last time he was on because we had our Age of Calamity spoiler discussion, and that was a ton of fun, so we're all back.
Pleasure to be here and giving some international representation to the podcast.
Our farthest
Nice.
away guest coming from the good old U of K, or US of K, no, US of A, however that works. I don't know. I'm a stupid American. What do I know? I know how to drink. That's what I know.
United of Kingdom. Let's keep it at that.
The United of Kingdom. So, all right. So I said I was gonna drink something stupider than rubbing hot sauce in my eyes. It's questionable. It's up there with the stupidest drinks that I've created on Drink to the Past. So I got my lucky 7 shot glass here, which I actually got in Las Vegas one time, and this shot here is a cocktail I like to call anime because it is designed to be stupider than the stupidest One Piece character design. And man, do they get stupid. And I love One Piece, and one of the reasons I love it is because they're not afraid to just make designs that are really stupid, and they're fucking funny because of it.
So who is the stupidest One Piece character design?
You know what?
All of them.
That's a legitimate answer.
I would say it's episode 87, so I'm yet to learn who the stupidest design is.
Right, yeah. I was about to say, I'm only 600 episodes in, so give me a chance to get, 3/4 of the way through before I answer. There's so many
That's just a
episodes.
bit further than me.
It's like, yeah, I'm 600 episodes in, and I have some thoughts right now about the stupidest character designs, but at the same time, like, what's around the corner? You never know with One Piece. You never know what kind of ridiculous direction they're going to take with the character design. And some of them are ridiculously badass, too, but they're just, like, so many just absolute, like, total stupid ones that it kind of throws it off. And I love it for both reasons. So anyways, the only semi-Japanese thing I could find to put in a drink tonight was soy sauce. So I put in some soy sauce, and I was like, what pairs absolutely awfully with soy sauce? And the answer is always tequila, right? So I got some soy sauce and some tequila in this shot glass.
Oh my god.
So, is this stupider than rubbing hot sauce in my eyes, or not?
I mean, you got to find out, and once you
take a
throw
drink.
it back.
All right, that's fair.
Drink,
Ready?
find out.
It tastes worse than the hot sauce stupid thing I drank last week, but ugh. That goes exactly as badly as I thought it would with tequila. All right.
It's almost like you've had experience with this before. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just asking. This is not something that was previously done before, right? Like you didn't find this as a recipe online or
no,
anything.
I sometimes
you just thought of it.
Yeah, sometimes I make up the cocktails, and sometimes I look up cocktail recipes depending on what I'm feeling at the time.
On the mood, situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tonight you just specifically wanted to throw back tequila and soy sauce.
Yeah. Like you do. Don't you just get a hankering?
No. No, not at all.
Not for that.
Not for tequila and soy sauce, no. But
It's kind of like getting a hankering for the flavor of vomit.
Right?
wow.
I don't know. It's differently bad than vomit. All right, so tonight you may notice us. My stream is Twilight Princess HD, and yeah, this is one of Usmania's favorite games. So I'm sure you're excited. This is going to be a little awkward though because my capture card really sucks. So I have about a 1 second latency from the time that I push whatever button or control stick to control my character to the time that it actually happens. So this is actually, like, fighting these rats is surprisingly difficult. So this should make for an interesting night, but it's okay because I have a big beer. I'm also not sure if I'm going the correct direction. Where am I going? Hold on.
So you're actually playing this live?
Yes, I am.
Wow.
I don't know.
Despite the praises that I sing for this game, I've never played it on the Wii U.
The Wii U version I like best, just because of the gamepad features I think are actually really, really cool. Motion controls for aiming is one of the big things. I really like that. And as well, just the, having, right now on my screen here, I have the mini map, so I can just, look down at the map in my actual hands, and it's a cheesy gimmick, but it's fucking cool. I like it. So...
I'm forever going to have animosity towards the guy in the game store who said, "Oh, there's no need to buy a Wii U. Everything's going to be on the Switch." I mean, he wasn't completely incorrect, but
okay.
I've basically missed out a bit.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, I've already done the temple over here, so I don't think I have to go here. Anyways, we're going to get into our news and booze, and Chris is going to take us through it this week because I'm streaming some ridiculous thing. Except for first, I'm going to introduce my beer, which is Lookout Stout. I got a whole bomber here, which is awesome. This is a retro-style label. This is the same label they used back in 1994 when Golden City Brewery opened. This is a little small-town brewery that's not too far from us, and I have them on the podcast regularly because they make the best frickin' beer in the fucking world. So, yeah. And Oatmeal Stout is one of my favorite beer styles anyways, so... yeah, I'm just gonna have a grand old time.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
Woo, head.
But first things first, before we get into the news and booze.
Got a little bit ahead here.
What y'all playing?
Oh yeah, what we playing? Well, I'm playing Oh shit, I'm getting my ass eaten by a rat while I'm filling my beer here.
That's funny. Getting your ass eaten by a rat.
These moves are incredibly dangerous.
Comes up every now and then. All right, now let's go back in there.
Chipz, what you playing?
Uh, shit. What am I playing? Okay, so I started Near Automata recently.
Nice.
I'm still going through Assassin's Creed Valhalla because that game is actually just so fucking huge. It's just a lot. What else? I actually bought a PS Vita very recently, so the first game on that platform I'm going through is Gravity Rush. And today, I bought Returnal and Pokemon Snap, which I'm gonna do a Pokemon Snap stream on Sunday, but those are just some of the games that I'm currently working through or plan to work through.
Nice.
So that's my thing.
I got my Pokemon Snap right here, but I haven't played it
Nice.
yet myself.
Nice.
Me neither. I haven't
I got it,
yet,
but my kids were not good, so they did not get rewarded with video games, which unfortunately means I had to wait too. So
Oh.
being a gamer parent is hard sometimes because you're like, yep, you weren't good enough to earn that game, but shit, I really want to play it too. Damn it. I've been waiting 22 fucking years.
Right.
Last time I played the original Pokemon Snap was actually at Chris's house just one night when we were getting together for D&D and nobody else showed up, and we were like, what do you want to do? And Chris is like, I got Pokemon Snap. I was like, all right. We just sat down and like 100%ed it in like 3 hours or whatever it takes. It was awesome.
Well, Pokemon Snap is unique to me because my sister, who has no remote interest in gaming whatsoever, actually played Pokemon Snap for some reason and played it more than me when we were children. So if she played that, then that must have some kind of sway. So yeah, I'm gonna be buying the new game tonight, about the afternoon today. So looking forward to that.
It's got
Wait,
some.
you're in the UK, right? So what time is it over there for you?
It is 4:45 in the morning.
Wow.
Oh,
But given that it's fasting these
Shit.
days, I'm awake for like a pre-dawn feast these days. So
Also,
what happens
because
is have-
Usmania doesn't drink, I have to drink extra on the podcast. That's the rule that we
But-
have. So I got an extra shot here, which is my favorite whiskey, Talnua Whiskey, which is another little local shop right down the road from us here it's in Arvada, Colorado, which isn't very far from us.
but
Yeah. That's
because I'm not supposed to eat for like 16, 17 hours, so I have my milk in one of these bad boys here. So just fill this to the top and drink away.
Nice.
okay.
Nothing wrong with milk. I actually like milk pretty well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Do you,
it's just my favorite.
Usmania, what you been playing?
Well, for the last week or two, I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. Is it pronounced Tsushima or Tsushima? Because
Tsushima.
The game,
Tsushima, yeah.
All right, Ghost of Tsushima, and I think so far it is an incredible game. I've really enjoyed it. I'm like hooked into it. I'm into only the early parts of the game, which is trying to save the blacksmith. I think that's quite early on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just love exploring. I just love exploring the open world.
It kind of
and then-
depends on which way you take it, though, because I didn't save the blacksmith until like 25 hours in or something because I did so many fucking side quests, which is one of the things that I love about this game. This is legit one of the best open worlds that's ever been made. I feel like the side
no doubt.
quests, personally, to me, I think they make Majora's Mask side quests look like a fucking bitch. They are that good, and just every one has just a little bit of storytelling that it brings into the lore of the world, and it's so well done in that regard. Definitely in my top 2 PS5 games or PS4 games. Well, I would say it's
PS4
actually.
game.
I bet it's better than the 2 games I've played on PS5 that are actually PS5 exclusive. So, yeah. Well, one of them's not PS5 exclusive. It's not the point. The point is, Ghost of Tsushima is fucking great. Go play it.
Yeah, for me, it's a
Yeah,
contender
it is.
between Batman Arkham Knight, Spider-Man PS4, and Final Fantasy VII, which I still have not completed yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
Still-
done it either. Don't feel bad about that at all because I mean I specifically waited for the 4K update that's coming out. I think it's in June that is gonna come out. So I'm totally fine with waiting for that game to like actually complete it, because even playing on a base PS4, I wasn't really satisfied with the graphics, and then I saw it at PAX, on a base PS4 and a PS4 Pro, and for me it was just graphics are alright. Like you can see where they cut corners, and it just I just wasn't happy with it. So I mean, I bought
this
it.
many
I bought the
Kargaroks in Hyrule Fail.
yeah. That I don't know, but it looks like you're struggling here. So
I mean, with the input lag, I feel like I'm actually doing okay. I'm just gonna start running though. I'm not gonna. They just keep like appearing. There's more and more of them. This is crazy.
I mean, it is at night, right? So like, freaks come out at night.
Health.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. That all you've been playing?
Me? Yeah. Well, primarily yes, but now that I'm gonna get Pokemon Snap later on today, so it's probably gonna be multitasking between both Pokemon Snap and Ghost of Tsushima. If that's how it's pronounced. But yeah, I think two completely different games to different paces. But I'm really looking forward to Pokemon Snap because it looks like a very gorgeous kind of overworld. Snap your pictures. So yep, I get that as soon as I can.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be a fun time. All right. With that, do we go into the news and booze? Is there another thing that I forgot?
I've been playing more Dota too, but you guys probably don't want to hear about that.
Chris has been playing more Dota 2. There, now they heard about that.
Yeah, they've heard about that.
I'm gonna die.
Wait, what's Dota 2?
Dota 2 is, did you ever play League of Legends?
Not enough.
Okay.
But I know of it, yeah.
Okay, it's kind of the progenitor, but they cleaned it up and updated it and updated all the character models. And it's one of those. It's a very intense, competitive kind of game. Where you play with 5 other people, and then everyone gets very frustrated with each other.
Especially if they suck half as much as me.
So I've been on that. I started playing ranked recently, and that's been an experience. So I don't think much more needs to be said about that.
So is it like another MMO kind of game, like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy?
It's not quite an MMO because each of the matches are time limited, as in they only last until you kill the enemy throne.
I love how all the Bokoblins just like stop trying to kill me for the postman to come in and be like, "Hey, buddy, I got a letter."
Exactly what I was just thinking when I was watching that.
There's a black wall.
Mm-hmm.
I had to run up and tell you that, I guess.
Apparently.
So it's I would compare it closer to like a sport, like football or something, but with a bunch of abilities and leveling and gold. It's very complicated, and I'm having trouble describing it. It's basically like a giant game of tug of war, but significantly more complicated.
Okay. I think I know what it is.
Okay. And with that, news and booze. So first thing on the news and booze here, Castlevania Season 4 premieres May 14th on Netflix.
Hells yes. You guys been checking out this show? You guys are both kind of into anime, which is why we're going to talk about anime later in the episode. So, I thought you guys might.
No, I haven't actually started watching that yet. I've heard a lot about it and a lot of good things about it. I haven't started watching it. Yeah, it's
what? Oh my god! you need to get on that like ASAP, especially since the next season is coming out in what, 2 weeks? Yeah, it's coming out in 2 weeks. You need to get on that ASAP. It is good.
Yeah, I
A
just
lot
have
of
a
lot of guts and gore, and yeah.
yeah, I just have a
sometimes
gigantic
naked
backlog
people.
right now.
Now you need to prioritize this, dude. Like,
Yeah,
put
it's
that
like
put that at the top and
Like-
just watch it.
you guys recommended me Demon Slayer, and I'm like a few episodes into that, and like a few
Yeah.
episodes into Castlevania, I was about 8,000% more hyped. So, not to say that Demon Slayer is like bad, but like it just hasn't started yet. And Castlevania is one of those shows that starts real quick. It's like, all right, now I know what the fuck I'm in for, and it's great. And the seasons
Yeah.
are relatively short too. The first one is only like 4 episodes, and then
Yeah.
I think the second and third season are both like 6 or 8 episodes. They're not very long either way. And I think the 4th season is also confirmed to be shorter. It's like 8 episodes or something. So it's not that much of an invest. Like if you've watched half of My Hero Academia, then like you've already invested as much time in that as you could in all of Castlevania.
If you watched half of the first episode of the first season of My Hero Academia, then you probably
Yeah, pretty close. The seasons to that one are kind of longer, aren't they?
yeah.
Is the first season really 4 episodes?
Of Castlevania?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a lot has happened in those 4 episodes.
It did,
then.
yeah, because it kind of brought the whole party together with Trevor Belmont
is
and
it-
Sypha and Alucard. And then the second season was kind of more them actually like doing stuff. So
Very snappy pace.
yeah,
Wow.
How
Are
long is
the
each
episodes longer?
I think they're
about
45
30
minutes or something. Yeah, 30 minutes
Nah,
or 45.
no way.
I forget.
I don't believe.
Maybe
it.
it has an hour runtime. I forget.
Is it on Netflix?
It is on
Yes.
Netflix. Yes, it's a Netflix
Okay.
exclusive, original, whatever you want to call it.
All right.
Got a tube.
Oh shit! You're right. It is 4 episodes. Oh my god.
But yeah, that's a series that I got partway through the second season of, and I was invested, and I just got distracted by something and never picked it back up. So I should probably start watching that again.
Yeah. Wow. They really put a lot in those 4 episodes because
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got
it
killer.
goes straight into season 2. Almost kind of like, they didn't miss a beat. And then season 3 is, it's a little bit more time passed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
which anime is it similar to? Would you say?
In terms of story, I can't say that it has a rival or something similar, but in terms of the animation, there's several other animes on Netflix that are Netflix originals that have like the same story. So like the new anime Yasuke is out. It has the same animation style.
Is that
I
out
think,
now? I just saw a trailer for that, and it looked kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I was gonna check that out.
Yeah, it's out now. Oh my god, I think there was another one. There was like it's in Spanish, which is interesting.
Huh. Spanish anime.
I forgot the
Who would've
name
thought?
of it. But Blood and Zeus is also another art style of the anime
Mhm.
that it's it's close to Castlevania.
I feel like in tonality, it's somewhat similar to Berserk, with just how much like dark shit just happens all like on a regular basis, and with all the
Right.
blood and gore and all that. So if you like Berserk, it's definitely a thing for you.
Yeah.
I feel like from what I've gathered of Demon Slayer so far, it's kind of similar to that, but with like a crapload more gore, and I think that's okay.
Where are you up to in Demon Slayer now?
Like 4. So I'm not that far in. So it's hard to get a exact read on Demon Slayer because apparently it gets better later, is what I've heard from literally you two guys. So
Yeah.
Well, it this way: if Breath of the Wild really rates it, and he doesn't rate a lot of things like so highly, then it's definitely worth sticking by. But in my opinion, it's not just one of the best anime I've ever watched, probably one of the best TV shows I've ever watched. Is Demon Slayer. So,
Yeah, I would say
worth it
it has a fantastic storyline, but we can get into that in the anime portion of all of this.
Yeah,
or,
we'll get there. We got plenty of news and booze so far, so
there's so much to talk about with
yeah.
that. But,
We could go on for hours, but yeah, let's go on to our next piece of news and booze there, Chris, which is
Let's move on to the next
absolutely
piece of news.
hilarious.
Google Stadia reveals they are adding a search bar to streaming services interface. Why wasn't that a thing before?
They are like 570 days in or something. They've been out for almost 2 years, and they have just added a
search bar?
the search bar. Like literally within the last week, they added a search bar, so now you can search through their games to see what game you for a specific game. And I think this is especially hilarious because like Google is a search bar. That's like the thing that they are known for. The thing that got them famous and rich as shit is a search bar. And it took them this fucking long to put one in Stadia. This is just...
Okay.
How do you even react to this? What the actual fuck?
It is not that hard to implement just a very basic search bar.
Especially since, like, it comes with, there are less games on the service than there are on Xbox Game Pass. It costs about the same amount, and the games on Game Pass are actually included instead of you have to buy them for full price and subscribe. So, like, what the shit, Google? What are you even doing with your life?
You know what it is? I think...
Ah, shit.
Oh, man. I think they gave up, like, halfway through development, right? Like,
Right?
They had a great idea, right? And it's kind of ahead of its time in terms of streaming, right? Especially if you're going to stream, full 1080p games and even 4K games. The bandwidth for American internet is
Oh, good, I had a
there.
ferry.
Right. And so they have a good product, but they realize that they really can't do anything with it right now. And so like they just gave up halfway because they've already committed to it, right? So they've already made deals with certain companies to put their games onto Stadia, and like they just gotta put it out, right? And then later on down the line, when this service completely goes to shit and nobody cares about it anymore, they fulfill their contracts and their obligations or whatever, and then it's just gonna be a dead platform. Like I truly believe that's what's gonna happen with Stadia within like the next few years, because streaming games, either 1080p or 4K over a stable connection is just not there yet, and it's gonna take too long to get that stable of a connection all over the US just for them to have their products rolled out to the masses. It's it's just not right now. It's just not feasible, and it's not going to work. I'm pretty sure their sales numbers reflect that.
Yeah,
it is kind of. They've had pretty big service problems, or so I've heard from Sean.
Yeah, I tried a free trial of them, and I was just like totally, completely unimpressed. On my PC and my phone, it ran like crap on both. And I was just like, this is awful. I think Game Pass has the right idea of doing it with like streaming on your phone and downloading on most other things. Although they have just rolled out like a thing where you can stream on your actual Xbox now. So I'm gonna try that out. I'm wondering how that'll be. But at the very least, they made it so that, like, things stream pretty good to your phone, which is, like, an absolute necessity for this kind of thing. It's like, if it's not... if it stutters so much to the point that it's unplayable, then you've fucked up somewhere. And if that's literally... Because, like, Game Pass offers you either or, right? And Stadia offers you one, but it doesn't work. So it's like, if you're going to offer me one, at least make it, like, work, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not unreasonable to ask for.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then again, I'm not a consumer of Xbox Game Pass.
Right.
It is a nice service. I will say
Mhm.
that. But one thing that I do wish that they have integrated more was, PC into their console version of Xbox Game Pass, because I mean, I also get it as to why they wouldn't do that, because you want hardware sales, right? So you still need that.
Mhm.
But it's kind of redundant if you're gonna have a live streaming service,
Mhm.
right? Or a service where you can just download the games day and date and play it on whatever platform, and then like, or play it on your main platform, and then later on bring it over to PC,
Right.
just to continue the the growth of that platform. I don't know. Xbox to me has always been a little bit weird. I haven't had a Xbox since the 360, so they just kind of like always been far out, for me.
Mhm.
And yeah, I have had Game Pass on PC, but it just kind of feels like a watered down version, because there's not a whole lot of games on there that interest me, right? They
Right.
have it's reminiscent of the library of games that were available to PC back in the day,
Right.
right? Where you'd see games like Quake 3 or Castle Wolfenstein, Command and Conquer, like those kind of like super niche PC games that you wouldn't really find on a console. And
Wow, I feel called out on that Command and Conquer.
Yeah,
Talked about
I mean,
super niche game.
yeah, like it. I mean, I used to play those on PC, right? And like you were only able to find those games on PC. So to see Xbox Game Pass have kind of the same things just for PC is like, whoa. I'm kind of being taken back in time, and then also kind of like being shitted on, because I'm paying for a service and I'm not getting a full Xbox library. And I think that was the big appeal for people, is having that huge Xbox library, anywhere, accessible anywhere. And it's really not accessible anywhere. It's just Xbox or mobile, what I'm saying? And it's not 100% on PC, and that's just my take on it.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting take too, because I actually started with Xbox Game Pass for PC, and I was like satisfied with the amount of games that I got, because I don't have like a ton of time to play games, so like I play the games that I can, but I was like, I was happy with what it was for what it was, but then I was like looking at it and I was like, hey, for another $5 more a month, I could get so much more. And it actually got me to go out and buy an Xbox Series S, just a cheap ass machine that I can just play Game Pass on. And I've bought one game because it was not on Game Pass, and it's only available digitally, but other than that, I'm like not sure I'll ever buy another game for my Xbox because of how Game Pass works. And so for me, it was like, it started as just a simple, like, yeah, sure, let's try it out. There's a couple of interesting games to me on on Game Pass for PC, and then it ended up kind of springboarding into I'm buying an Xbox. Now I'm all in on the Xbox ecosystem. I play some games on PC because I only have so much space on my Xbox, right? So I download some games on PC, I download some games on my Xbox, and then I have some other games that I'm just like, yeah, this would be a good on-the-go game. So I just like stream it on mobile, and it's fine. And I can't walk into this fucking tier of light, and it is bugging me because I suck so much because of this input lag. Chris, tell us about the next piece of NooznBooz while I walk around in circles like an idiot.
Sure. Tales of Arise release date confirmed September 10th, and Bandai Namco revealed there will be upgraded versions for PS5 and Xbox Series.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool, because I have both of those consoles, so I pre-ordered the PS5 version today at GameStop when I went over to pick up... Can I just not pick these up, or what the fuck is actually going on?
Do you need like the leaves?
Yeah,
Did you talk?
Guess I do. I guess I didn't talk to the spirit. Huh.
Yeah.
So I'll have to come back here and kill the bugs again, probably?
Probably.
I'm an idiot. I'm doing all this out of order. I didn't know you could do that. I was just kind of wandering around because I'm not like watching the cutscenes actively because I'm trying to make gameplay and stuff like a real streamer. I'm not a real streamer. I'm just a guy who likes to get drunk on the internet. Anyways, I love the Tales series. Me and Chris played a buttload of Tales of Symphonia way back in the day.
Yeah.
That was a good time. I can't kill this bat. Die, bat, die.
How long are those games?
Depends. I feel like Tales of Symphonia was about 40 hours. Tales of Vesperia, I've been playing through again. I felt like I was almost done at the 40-hour mark, and then I felt like, I'll definitely be done pretty soon at the 45-hour mark, but it just keeps going, so I'm not totally sure how it's longer than Symphonia was, but it's like, I'm not totally sure how long, because it keeps leading me to believe that the end is coming, and then it's like, fuck you, plot twist! I'm like, I love it, and I hate it at the same time, because I'm just like, I've had this game for so long, I kind of want to be done with it. But at the same time, it's such a good game that I'm just like, I'm okay with, it's stretching it out a little more. So eventually
it is proper JRPG length.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
So I expect this to be right about in that JRPG length kind of area. But it might be a little bit longer than some of them, too, because they were saying that this one has more anime cutscenes than any other Tales game has ever had. And they're all animated by the animation company that animates Demon Slayer, among other things. So I thought the cutscenes are all done by the Demon Slayer animation team. So I'm like... That's pretty cool, yeah. Because the one thing I will say about Demon Slayer a few episodes in is, like, when they get going on the animation and they go crazy, like, with the water sword thing, I'm just like, there you fucking go. That is really cool. So I'm kind of hyped about that. And back in the day, I watched some of the other stuff that they made, because they made there was actually Tales of Symphonia animes that I watched, and I guess they've made a few other... of the Tales games into like anime movies and series, so that was kind of
reminds me. It reminds me of a game series. Have you heard of Blaze Blue?
I've heard of it.
It's a fighting game.
Played any? Yeah,
it's BlazBlue.
Yeah, BlazBlue. I think it's called Blaze Blue because the anime that's how it's pronounced. Basically, it's quite a long gaming series, and the main protagonist is someone called. I remember Ragnar the Blood Edge. And he's basically just like
why can't I jump at the hole?
Copy paste. He's kind of a copy paste of Cloud Strife in a way, like same hairdo and same type of sword. But I watched the anime recently. It's called Alter Memory, and it was weird, but it was a good watch, I would say overall. But it has got me interested in trying the game sometime. So I think when you're talking about Tales, it kind of reminded me of that.
Cool.
I feel like the story of Blaze Blue and the general stories of the Tales games are very different.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the BlazBlue OVA, I guess, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was mainly because it's kind of a gaming series which got adapted into an anime series or a very short anime series, so that's where comparison came into my mind.
Matt Piscatella of the NPD, I don't know what that stands for, shares that Mario Kart 8, including Wii U and Switch sales,
I don't
has
remember
surpassed
what NPD stands for either, but it's some kind of reporting group that tells you all about sales about shit.
Nintendo Press Department or something like that.
Something.
Well, anyway, Mario Kart 8, including the Wii U and Switch sales, has surpassed Mario Kart Wii for the best-selling racing game in U.S. history. Also states that the PlayStation 5 is now the fastest-selling console in dollar sales and unit sales.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting because a couple of weeks ago they were saying, oh yeah, it's the best-selling console in terms of dollar sales, and I'm like, you can't really say that because the Switch has sold a lot more units, but it's only surpassed it in dollar sales because it's $200 more expensive just to buy one. And now they're like, now it's selling faster than Switch in unit sales too. And now I'm like, okay, now you have my attention.
Okay.
All right. So.
Yeah, now that makes more sense.
Well, how fast is it selling, and what's the time frame, right? Because Switch has been out for what, 2 years now, going on 3 years.
I think it's compared to the relative same
years.
launch, like 6 months or whatever since when the Switch launched. Its first 6 months on market, at that time was the fastest selling console in U.S. history, and now the PlayStation 5, from what I understand.
So they're looking at the time frame of how fast these.
Yeah, like the first 6 months of Switch versus first 6 months of PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 has officially moved more units.
Okay. All right. Then that's a different story.
Yeah, so I think that's actually pretty damn impressive too, because we all know the Switch is doing fucking like bonkers sales. Like even still, they're like breaking records all the time. So to see PlayStation 5 like at least on pace with the opening of the Switch, I think is really interesting. I think there might be some amount of pandemic to do with that. You know, people are all want to stay at home, and you buy a PS5 and subscribe to PlayStation Plus, and you get like 20 free PS4 games or something. So it's like, you know, it's not a bad deal overall. And they've got there's a ton of backlog too. It's got a lot of versatility because of the PS4 backwards compatibility and stuff too. So I think it's just a cool little factoid, I thought.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Will that deal still stand though? Like in the summer, do you think the 20 free PS4 games?
I'm not sure how long that'll last. If it's just going to be like opening period of the PlayStation 5, or if it'll actually like just be the whole life cycle of the PlayStation. You know, it's hard to tell really, but
I mean. Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one. I don't know
you could make a good business-based argument for either direction.
Right.
So
right. But the bright side is that they did not say anything about having a definitive date. You know what I'm saying, for those games to be online for free, which is good. Yeah. You know, especially for anybody who's jumping into a PS5 and has missed out on the PS4 generation. I mean, because there are, you know, surprisingly enough, there are people out there who have not had a PS4 and only are like Xbox or Switch.
Chris over here with his PC.
Right, or PC.
That's about it.
And to jump into the PS5 and get 20 games for free that, if I'm not mistaken, have already been optimized for the PS5 in terms of, you know, their frame rate, and some of them might have gotten like 4K upgrades. So, you know, it's a good deal. I'm hoping that they keep it going for, you know, the lifetime of its cycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Indeed. All right. What's our next piece of news and booze there, Chris?
According to Pure Xbox, Game Pass now has over 23 million subscribers, up from the reported 18 million in January.
Yeah, I thought that was an incredible growth of like 5 million subscribers in the last, 3 months, basically. That's an insane amount of growth. And like, I blame almost all of that on the Bethesda acquisition. Because people are just like, hold on, I can play fucking Skyrim and Morrowind and Fallout and Dishonored and Tomb Raider and... Not Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is Doom, yeah. Yeah, just all of these games are on Game Pass now, and holy shit. It was like, so I think that's got a lot to do with it, but it's also just kind of to show you that, like, I think, the marketability of Game Pass is really showing itself now that they've got, like, a really good library of great games for Xbox. And a pretty good library of games for PC. And that's always growing too. They just added Octopath Traveler for PC. All of those Bethesda games are on PC almost. I think all of them are PC and Xbox, and some of them are cloud. I think you can stream like Skyrim to your phone. I could be wrong on that. I don't remember, but it's just holy crap, all of these games, and so yeah, I thought that was cool.
I'm just curious as to what the revenue structure is for Game Pass, because streaming music is one thing. We know, or we kind of have an idea of how they make their money with that, and the same thing with movies, right?
You got a church thing on the right there.
I got a what?
Sorry, never mind.
Oh, and so yeah, it's just like, what?
No.
Like what is the sales figures like for games on Game Pass that are being downloaded and streamed for what, essentially $10 a month?
Yeah.
So how does the developers make? How do they make their money from a $10 a month subscription?
I'm not 100% sure exactly how all of the logistics of it work, but I was reading another article over on Pure Xbox, which, if you like Nintendo Life, Pure Xbox is basically their Xbox sister site that does all Xbox news and stuff. So they're a fairly reputable outlet, I think. I would recommend them. And basically what they were saying was that actually a lot of the like indie developers that are putting their stuff on Game Pass have been very pleased with, because it's not the same as like, oh, I'm getting X number of game sales. It's that Xbox is literally just paying the company like, hey, we will put this on Game Pass, and we, Xbox, Microsoft, are going to pay you X number of dollars per month. So it's a continuous stream, and I don't know if it's like as much as game sales relatively or less than relatively, but it is a consistent number. So generally, like, even small indie developers that are putting their games on this platform are being happy with the financial gain that they are seeing. So check out. There's a much more in-depth look at it on the Pure Xbox article. I forget what it was called, but look up that website. Just all sorts of cool Xbox news there and stuff. So I recommend them.
Okay.
Next piece of news and booze there, Chris.
Next piece of news and booze. Xbox Live is no longer required to play many free-to-play games such as Fortnite, Apex Legends, and Rocket League.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting because, like, a lot of other other like platforms have been doing this for a while. Like, I think Switch does this and PlayStation does this. That you don't need a subscription to play Rocket League or whatever. right? Because it's just a free-to-play game. And so it's a little late to the party, but I'm just happy that it's there now for people who care about these games like Fortnite or whatever.
No big opinions on that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They're kind of Fortnite anyway. So.
Okay, I read this one and I thought, hey, this one kind of sucks. Batteries inside PS4s are dying, which causes the clock to be reset to the default, which makes games unplayable until you connect to the internet, including those you physically have on discs. Spawnwave tested this on PS5, and it is not an issue there.
Yeah, so this news is actually coming from Spawnwave, is where I first heard about it. He has a really cool video, a couple of them, where he tests this on PS4 and PS5, where he takes apart his PS4 and PS5 in order to remove the battery that sustains the clock in there, the internal clock in your PlayStation. And basically, the PlayStation 4 has this issue, the PlayStation 5 does not, that if the battery dies or is for some reason removed, then unless you connect to PlayStation Network and get the clock to reset by PlayStation Network, your games are all unplayable. Which is not much of an issue now, but like in theory, this could be a really, really big issue in 20 years when PlayStation 8 is the thing or whatever, and they're like, okay, we're discontinuing PlayStation 4 services, and then like, oh, you can't play any of your games on PS4 anymore. You know, if your battery dies.
They need to release an update fixing this immediately.
It is a thing that theoretically could just, like, you make a firmware update, and if you're, you know, updated to the latest PS4 firmware, it's not a problem anymore. So that would be a fix. But as of right now, there is no fix.
This is unacceptable. This is the sort of thing that I would abandon a company entirely over.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm not as mad because, like, I have a PS5 now, and it's not an issue on PS5, and I can still play my PS4 games on PS5. I still am, like, mildly upset that it is an issue that exists, but I'm not that far. I'm like, I still like playing shit, so I'm still gonna play shit.
I've never been comfortable with this whole feeling that you're leasing your games as opposed to, you know, owning them.
Right. I do definitely understand that. But I also feel like that's a little funny coming from a PC gamer that buys most of your games on Steam and shit. I jumped off. I'm an idiot. Oh, well. I think I got all of them up there. Anyway.
I mean, I guess that's kind of fair. Steam does have it so that you can play offline and you don't need to be connected to the Steam network to play those games.
Right.
So,
but theoretically, you know, if like they fuck up royally and shit hits the fan and they go down as a company, you lose all your games potentially that you don't literally have downloaded right now.
Yeah, but I have my games. I have all those games downloaded. So.
All right, that's fair.
Well, I mean, that's just.
I don't have that much disk space.
You know,
yeah.
Right. You know, it's. I mean, you're a unique situation, right? Not everybody, you know, downloads their games or, you know, saves it, so that way if something happens, they still have a backup. Which is, as a PC gamer, I would imagine you would have a backup for all of that. You know, but again, not everybody does that, and then that's my problem with digital versus physical. You know, but that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I end up having just a bunch of hard drives. Like I've been collecting hard drives basically as long as I've been PC gaming. Every time I upgrade a computer, it's like, oh yeah, now I have yet another hard drive to add to this next computer. So.
Damn. That's a lot of hard drives, dude.
Yeah. So maybe I'm just like a digital hoarder.
Right.
And what I
how
say?
Many
fair,
games do you have per hard drive?
Let me see. How many games do I even just have on Steam? Let's see. I got probably 100, 150
on one hard drive.
150 per hard drive or so. if I had to guess.
That's a lot of games. I buy almost all my stuff physical.
Right.
But I don't have that many games. That's a lot of games.
Me neither. Like, I'm just gonna show you guys the little stack of PlayStation games that I have right next to me. Right. This is it, and this is not all of my PlayStation games. I have more in my closet, whatever. But like, it's nothing like huge. You know what I mean? Like my PS4 collection is not huge. If anything, it'd be like here the amount of PS4 games that I have physical, and it's probably the same thing with my Switch. I mean, I just collect games that I really like. All right, I'm not trying to buy every single game because that's a shit ton of money. But
my problem is I just don't have that much time to play games, and I'm like, if I'm not gonna play a game, I'm not gonna buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Makes sense.
Except basically in the case of the fucking, what was that called? A Starlink. Because I bought that like 90% for that fucking R-Wing that is sitting on my Amiibo shelf. Because it is fucking cool. And I did like eventually fire it up once just to try it out. And I was like, this is fine. And then I put it back in its case. And it's stood there ever since. And I keep every now and then I'm like, should I play Starlink? No, I'm going to play something else. It's not a bad game, and I feel bad for feeling this way about it, but this is the way I feel about it, and yeah. Especially since I waited on Starlink, and I got that, like, the big-ass bundle pack with the fucking Star Fox R-Wing and the Star Fox minifigure for, like, $10.
Yes, me too.
It's like, oh my god. And then, like, I saw, like, a few weeks after that Amazon put it on fucking sale for, like, $5, and I was like, hot damn. I didn't think this game was that bad that, like, it's only worth $5 for the game and a big-ass fucking R-Wing statue that clicks onto your controller, which is for like
$5.
Admittedly, it's a cool like idea, but it's just like if it was a real Star Fox game, I would have cared a lot more.
What a vote of no confidence, I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you see it and it's still like $10 or $20, it's worth it to get that R-Wing and put it on your Amiibo shop.
I don't know. At this point, dude, I don't know. Like,
right?
If that shit is going for $5, you might as well just say fuck it and don't get it.
I don't know. I'm happy to have the R-Wing on my Amiibo shelf, so to me, that is worth $10. You can be the judge for yourself.
I mean, I also got it for $10, and I haven't opened it once. I got it during Christmas season, and I was like, oh shit. Starlink, $10, boom. Yeah. And then it got here, and I was just like, nah.
Yeah. Like, the game's not awful, but it just, like, I played, like, an hour or two, and it didn't draw me in, and I was like, so yeah, I'm gonna play some Twilight Princess HD or some shit.
See, I have no idea. The toy looks cool. It looks cool as shit, but I have no idea how that game plays.
Looks awesome, the toy.
You know what? At this point, I might as well hold out for it to be like a rare collector's item.
Right.
That'll never happen, but
Right? Yeah, because they made so many of them, and they had to get rid of them by selling them for $5.
Yeah. Oh my god, that is funny. I did not know that. It sold for $5.
Yeah, I mean, 10 was bad enough, and then when I saw it listed for $5 on Amazon, I was like, I'm just, like, very sad for Ubisoft right now. These poor guys.
Well,
put their heart and souls into a game that's not worth $10 with a goddamn toy.
But you know what?
Turns out to be what, £3?
Yeah, I think they got their initial sales though. Like, they got the numbers that they were looking for right in the beginning, and then after that they were just like, fuck it, whatever happens happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, which is bad, because if they were in charge of a legit Star Fox game, to me that sounds like that game would be trash, and I would not buy it.
Right.
Well, speaking of Star Fox, I mean, the main game that I played is Star Fox Adventures, and I really enjoyed it, but it seems to get a lot of stick from a lot of people.
Is that the one with the dinosaurs?
Yes, that's the one. It's actually been compared to a Zelda game. Like,
I think it's like a off-brand version of a Zelda game.
yeah. But, I
You know what's the crazy thing is, I bought it for the GameCube,
Mhm.
and
yeah, same.
Same.
And
yeah, I was highly disappointed. I sold that shit ASAP.
really,
Yes, I beat
the
it, and
most-
I sold that shit ASAP. It was
So
not
what's
in
wrong
my
with it?
collection.
See, I encountered a game-breaking bug where if you do things in a certain order, you just can't progress. You miss an event trigger, and you just cannot never get to the next part of it.
Wow.
mhm.
I just didn't like the fact that it was Star Fox and dinosaurs and I
Well-
don't know, a fucking stick.
Part
You know,
of the
with a gem at the
problem
end,
with
but-
that was like that it was developed to be an entirely separate game. It was called
Yeah.
Dinosaur
Yeah,
Planet.
it
It was originally planned for
It was,
Nintendo
yeah.
64. We actually covered this a little bit. There was an interesting data leak of like a prototype of this leaked online or something of the original Dinosaur Planet for Nintendo 64. Which was interesting because it like the prototype that leaked was like somewhere mid development where they had already decided to make it a Star Fox game, but like the only thing that they had changed at this point in the development was that they had changed the main character's character model to Star Fox, so he was like still called the other name in the dialogue and stuff. So it's an interesting story. Check out somebody had a cool video about all the
Well, didn't they
logistics.
do the same thing with Mother 3? Like the sequel to Earthbound was supposed to be an N64 game, and they totally scrapped it and put it on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, and then they never localized it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that still gets me.
yeah, they're not gonna localize
Did you
it.
see today, actually, Terry Crews, of all
Yeah.
people, tweeted out, localize Mother 3? I was like, Terry Crews, this is fucking hilarious. This is amazing.
No matter how much publicity that game gets, it's never gonna be localized. Like
Right.
I'm past it now. Like I had a belief that it was gonna happen and it was gonna come on Switch, but I think it's just never gonna happen. That game is too much of a cult game for them to bring it over to the to the States or to the West.
I don't know. It's been one day and it's got 67,000 retweets or some shit. I'm like, is that a cult game? I like it is,
Yeah.
but like, there's enough people I feel like that are interested, if nothing else, than for the meme value, right? I think it would sell well if they localized it.
I feel like at
Oh, yeah.
this point, if you were interested in playing the game, you probably picked up the fan translation that came out like, what, 10, 15 years ago?
I don't know. I'm that kind of guy that I like very rarely like pirate anything. So like, I am interested in this game and I have not
It-
checked it out.
It's one
I
of
would-
those things where it's kind of has the unofficial. It's like, kind of has like unofficial like endorsement by Nintendo, and that it's been pretty well known for a long time, and they still haven't shut
They
it
haven't
down.
given it an NDA like they do to every fucking thing
Yeah.
else.
Like
Yeah,
they did like Pokemon Uranium or like
Every
I think
every
because-
other Metroid 2 remake.
I think the reason why is because of the generation of when that happened, right? Because think about it, this was the Game Boy Advance, so the fan translation, I think it first started out, on a Game Boy Advance cartridge, if I'm not mistaken, and then later on found its way online. But like, there's so many sites where you can get it from. It's like, how do you as Nintendo go after hundreds of sites where that's been uploaded? Like, they just, at some point, they're just like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. Like, we're never gonna bring this game to the West, so have it. You know what I mean?
It disappoints me that they always seem to go after like the fan projects that are done out of passion, as opposed to it's just like, oh yeah, pirates are gonna pirate. And he's like, oh,
right.
Just they'll laugh in your face.
Right, but they go after the sites with like the bigger brand titles, right? Like a Mario or Pokemon, stuff that makes them tons of money. They'll go after those because they want that money. They want to protect that IP. But something like Mother, Earthbound, they've shown that they don't really care about it. You know what I mean? I picked up a fan translation on an actual Game Boy Advance cartridge maybe like 2 years ago. I have it somewhere here, and I haven't been able to play it yet because I wanna change out the screen for my Game Boy Advance to be a backlit screen so I can play it and have it actually be like battery powered.
Oh, you got one of the old style Game Boy Advances?
Yes.
That's
I had
my
the original.
only working Game Boy. I have 2 Game Boy Advances like that because my brother left one in our house when he left, and I took it because I wanted to play Crystal Chronicles with some buddies of mine. Chris was one of those guys.
Yeah, and I have a Game Boy SP still sitting somewhere in the back.
My SP, the LCD cracked, so I can't see anything, and that's back at my parents' house somewhere, anyways. So I theoretically could get it repaired, but it's like, whatever. I got 2 working Game Boy Advances if I wanted to play the games again. And I think there's something like nostalgic about using the original hardware with the original crappy ass screens. Like, I go back on my fucking 30-year-old Game Boy and play Link's Awakening every now and then with the fucking green ass pixels, and they're almost burnt out because they're so fucking old. And every time I boot it up, I'm just like so fucking happy with it. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is so cool. And I'm like a fucking stupid kid again. I'm like, it's great. Chris, skip that next piece of news and booze and go straight to the last one. We'll save that other one for because we've been talking about news and booze for an hour now.
Yeah, I'll go over this last piece of news and booze because this is really exciting to me, and I hope it's really exciting to Sean. And
hell yeah! I read all fucking 1,000 or 1,100 Sprite comics of this shit whenever that was 10 years ago. That was fucking awesome, man.
This is still one of those comics that I can read today, and it will still sometimes make me laugh out loud. 8-Bit Theater script book Kickstarter is out now. Can't have the comics because of legal and technical hurdles, because it was a Sprite comic. But this is 100% of the script from the webcomic, which is kind of hilarious that they're just selling this. He's just selling the script.
I think this is amazing. So if you don't know, 8-Bit Theater is basically a parody version of the original Final Fantasy, where it starts out with a fighter, black mage, white mage, and red mage, I think, as the primary crew, and you also have like the black belt as a side character and other of these guys, and the villains come in here, and the NPCs come in here and there, and some of them are recurring characters, and it is the most uproariously hilarious comic I have ever read in my entire life. It is so fucking funny. So like, if you haven't, is it still up there on his website? Probably. Nuclearpower.com was the old website. Nuclear spelled with a K. Nuclearpower.com. And yeah, all the Sprite comics I think are still there for free, right? So if you just want to read the comics, then absolutely go check it out. It absolutely is worth the time investment to read 1,100 pages of this shit. And the script book on Kickstarter I think is hilarious. Because, like, I get that he unfortunately couldn't just sell a book of the comics because of copyright issues with Square Enix, probably, but I think a script book is, like, a weird substitute, but it's such a... I think it's a fucking hilarious substitute, right? Because Just
This
to
is
say, I have the script book of a Sprite comic based off of a video game from the 80s is like fucking awesome. I want it so much. I'm going to check this out. I'm going to be drunk enough to support this as soon as the podcast is done, right?
This is one of those things where I saw it and I was like, it's just a script book. That's pretty bizarre. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'll pick it up. I'll back this.
Yeah.
So now I'm in for
No
the
idea
preview.
what I'm supposed to do in
No
this
comments
room. I've just been wandering around in here for a while.
on.
Is the thing in here? If it is, I'm just a dumbass. I think I put
you're
on my
supposed
senses earlier, but I didn't.
Do you have to knock
Didn't see
something over?
it. Maybe. I don't know.
That
Sometimes.
that's a fire, right? Right there.
Is there a fire? Where's the fire? It's so hard to pay attention. Oh, there's the fire, right? So maybe there's a stick in here. I have to light something on fire.
I don't remember. It's been a long
I
time.
lit something else in fire in another area, so I'm not.
Yeah, there's the
100%
fire
sure.
inside of that
Yeah,
little stove there.
yeah. But is there a stick and is there something else to light on fire?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a stick though.
Yeah.
So Usmania stick, Chipz N Stix. You guys got any opinions on 8-bit theater?
I
Nope.
don't know anything about it.
All right.
to be
Same here.
honest.
Well, Joe, go check out that Sprite comic at nuclearpower.com. Nuclear spelled with a K.
Alright.
Also, I read
Okay,
his
okay.
book. He wrote a book called Nuclear Age, also spelled with a K, which centered around this superhero called Nuclear Man. And he was like this big, just buffoon superhero that was like just like ungodly powerful, but he was a fucking moron, and it was also just hilarious. One of the best books I've ever read. So check out this author. His name's Brian Clevenger. He's also I think he was one of the first authors to be published by Marvel Comics and DC Comics. He's the writer of currently Atomic Robo, which is I haven't read a ton of that, but I've read a couple issues, and it's pretty funny. And it's like this like superpowered robot that fights Nazis. It's funny.
Basically, this piece of NooznBooz was an excuse for me and Sean to nerd out about Brian Clevenger.
Fuck yeah. All right, let's get into the actual fucking topic that we were here for. Also, Joshua Thompson in the comics, apparently, in the comments, excuse me, I tripped over my words. I have to drink.
Chris Digital Hoarder Audette.
Saying, Chris Digital Hoarder Audette, which I'm like, yeah. So, Joshua Thompson is my brother. So, hey, Josh, how you doing? So, yeah, awesome to see him in the live audience. Last week we had Chipz in the live audience, which was hilarious because he got to watch me put hot sauce in my fucking eyeballs.
And I was at work watching that too, and I was like, oh my god.
How did you
I
manage
gotta
that?
just
stop
like-
what I'm doing.
Hold on, do I have to call 911 for this weirdo in Colorado? Like, hey, go. Anyways, so let's get into the video game topic, which means I have to do the theme song.
What happened to the sound?
It doesn't come through on Discord a lot of the time. It shows up in the YouTube video, so.
No.
Yes, let's go. Ready. Well, couldn't hear it, but
All right, sorry about
applause.
that you couldn't hear that through the Discord, but my mic picks up everything that I do through here instead of, because the Discord is like all based on like it senses for actual voice and speech. So it doesn't, the bagpipe music doesn't always come through for Discord. So
Gotcha.
Sorry about that
Fair
for
enough.
you guys. But also we have to all drink because that was the wrong tune. I played a tune called The Belly Dancer instead of The Dance of the Desert Flower, which I usually play, because I was like, oh yeah, that's that dance tune, and then I started playing the wrong tune entirely. So that tune is actually a tune by a guy called Gordon Duncan. He's a very fantastic bagpipe composer that died in 2005. Excellent bagpipe composer, and I'm very sorry for the slight butchering of that tune I did, because I am still getting used to this new electric bagpipe chanter, and it's got weird sensors compared to what I'm used to, which is probably a strange thing for most people to hear, that something is weird about an electric bagpipe. And I feel like most people feel like it's weird that I own 2 electric bagpipes, right? So, yeah, I'm still getting used to the sensors on that, and I'm slightly inebriated, so it was not as good of a performance as I would have liked, so I will drink for that. Anyways, so we were talking about how we all like anime pretty well. So we're going to be talking about video game anime, or like our favorite anime video games, and or our favorite waifus and husbandos in anime or in video games, because I feel like there's a good number of them, and I got one right here that I am literally streaming. Is this wolf dude right here? Let's see if I can get a good zoom in on him. He's not as hot in I can't zoom in very good with this camera on. There we go. There we go. Yeah, Link is like one of the hottest fucking dudes in video games.
Which one?
My favorite is Ocarina of Time Link, but Twilight Princess is definitely up there. Breath of the Wild is definitely up there. So, yeah, just like most iterations of Link are hot, except for Toon Link. He's like I feel like if you have a thing for Toon Link, like something is wrong with you, and you're gonna be a fucked up pedophile or something, because he looks like he's like 6, and what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah.
Seek help, please.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out of this place because I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. If I can get out, let's try and see if I can get out with the fuck. I didn't want to. Fuck. Okay. I got it. Okay. This fucking input lag is like as hilarious as it is annoying. Anyways, yeah, the other bug is around here someplace, but I just gotta figure out how the fuck to get to it.
So
It's annoying because it's on my mini map on the screen, which is in this tiny ass little corner here in the stream, but it's not on my mini map on the gamepad where I can see it clearly where the fuck it is. So it's like somewhere in that general direction. But we won't put it on the big mini map. Assholes.
I will say, I did pick up Code Vein.
Woo!
A lot of the appeal... I picked up Code Vein about a year ago, and I would say a lot of the appeal of that game is the character designer.
Mm-hmm. You making all those badass waifus?
Yep.
Nice.
But that's what that's about.
Yeah, because, like, I have not seen anything about Code Vein outside of the character design. Like, I have
Isn't that game
no
supposed to come
fucking
out,
idea.
like, in a year?
I think it's out already, right? Yeah.
It's been out.
It's been out for a little while.
Probably more than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking it used to be, it was like real popular for a while, and now it's kind of died down. But like still, all that I've seen about it is the character customizer, that it's got like a crap load of different options, and like a lot of people are like recreating like some of their favorite anime characters or video game characters, and a lot of them are just making like really cool anime designs for I guess, waifus and husbandos, whatever you're into, which is interesting. So yeah, I'm like, it looks neat, but I literally have no idea what the game is about because nobody posts anything but the customizable characters.
So that game it's basically like a much more linear Dark Souls-like kind of combat engine.
Okay.
And I guess it's about like everyone is a vampire in the future except for like very few humans there are, and then if they take their masks off when they're outside, they get turned into monsters or something. I don't remember. It's like a very anime. It's set up, I guess I would say.
Sounds a bit like Seraph of the End, based on what you're describing.
Seraph of the End? I'm not familiar.
Yeah. It's an anime which is about vampires and humans, where like vampires are becoming more dominant in the human society. I haven't actually watched it. My dad's the one who's seen it, so.
I have not. I have not seen that.
Yeah, I've heard quite a lot about it, so it just struck me when you were just mentioning that.
Let's see. It was like also another super anime thing was you'd like collect memory shards of people, and then you'd get to like walk through their memories and stuff of like people who turned into monsters. And
that's kind of cool, actually. I like that idea.
It
kind of reminds me of that thing we did in my zombies campaign that we did in D&D. That was like whenever you kill a zombie, like they would like come back to who they were before they were zombified for like their last 5 seconds of life, and they'd get like one line to say, and it's just like, I did so much fucked up shit, and then they die, and you just something like that, because they realized they were zombies the whole time, and that was one of the kind of things I tried to do to get under the player's skin, and then as a DM, I'm just far too silly for that to ever work, so I don't feel like the effect worked as well as it did in my mind, but I kind of get that idea off it.
I feel like it was pretty silly in Code Vein as well, because it was very melodramatic. So it was a bit much. So it ended up coming off as kind of funny as opposed to like serious.
Mm-hmm. Why so serious?
But I had fun with the game while I played it.
All right. Yeah, so Usmania, how many waifus do you have, and how many of them have blue hair?
The funny thing that now that you mentioned that, because I seem to really like the kind of happy-go-lucky, kind of cheery personality, and for some reason most of them seem to have blue hair.
Yeah, that's just something I've been making fun of him for on Discord lately. That I've just been like, oh yeah, of course you like the one with the blue hair. I forget what we were talking about, but like I know which one you're gonna mention from video games. First off, probably I can give a guess, and if I'm wrong, then I'll have to drink. I'm gonna drink anyway because I like beer.
Well, I think you've got a very high chance of guessing it right.
Although, to be fair, my favorite husbando has blue hair too, so
Oh, who would that be?
I was gonna go get my amiibo. Hold on.
Who is it? Crom?
Oh, it's
like
gotta be Crom.
It is Crom, right?
It's either Crom or Ike.
Okay.
That is Crom, yeah.
It's Crom. Ike is too buff for me. Crom is like just the right amount of buff where he's not too buff that I'm just like, oh my god, he's so hot. And also, funny, interesting story about my headcanon for Fire Emblem Awakening is that it's kind of headcanon and it's also kind of canon because I played through it where Robin was female because I started a hard mode run because I was like, oh yeah, I've played a bunch of Fire Emblems. I'll be great at this. And then I like died so hard in the first chapter all the time. And I got through the first chapter, but I lost like 9 units. And I was like, I cannot go like this. It's not going to work. So I restarted, and I was like, I wonder if there's any big differences if you're a female. And I went through as a female Robin, and on normal mode, and I got like... It was a lot easier on normal mode, so that was good. But also, when you get to a certain point in Crom and Robin's support, they can get married if Robin is a female. So, in my canon, in the head canon that I have, that's technically not canon because there's no official Robin is male or Robin is female timeline in Fire Emblem, but in the way that I played it, Crom and Robin got married, and that has the implication that Robin is also Lucina's mother. And that, like, adds this whole extra layer that, for me personally, the way that I played the game, it, like, adds that extra, like, little tie between the characters that I think really elevates the game. I thought that was a really cool thing to just have Crom and Robin get together, and also Crom is so fucking hot. Sorry, not sorry.
I mean, there's no need to apologize for that.
Good, because I said sorry, not sorry, which is not really an apology, is it?
It's like an apology, but then you backed out.
But not sorry. Yeah. It's like if you wanted to apologize, but you weren't sorry.
Well,
That makes
speaking
sense.
of the character, yeah. Speaking of the character that I go on about and from Hyrule Warriors, I literally don't understand why there's so much hate around Lana.
Is there?
And, yeah, it seems to be a very unpopular character for some reason.
I don't know. I like her. I guess I've had a reasonable number of people just like not like her. I don't know, because like I always thought she was fine. She's fun to play as. I really liked her in the original. She was one of my mains in Hyrule Warriors Legends. I backseated her for some of the DLC characters that came in there. Young Link and Marin were particular standouts in the DLC there. But like in the base game, I feel like she's one of the stronger characters.
She's awesome
to play as. She's super fun to play as, and in the story, I'm not like crazy about her, but she was a fun character. She, you know, I definitely think she like helped the story go along and all that, and then the kind of a twist in the middle with her and Sia, I thought was it's an interesting enough twist, because like of all the things that I play Hyrule Warriors for, story is none of them. But, like, that was one of the interesting parts of the Hyrule Warriors story, where it's just like, hey, Sia and Lana have this kind of thing going on. I won't spoil it exactly for people who haven't played Hyrule Warriors. It's been out for a while. What the fuck are you doing? Go play it if you haven't. Like, if you're interested in it, it's a Warriors game. It's one of the best Warriors games, in my opinion. Go check it out. Yeah. But, it's like... I never had a problem with her. I thought she was a fun character, and she's a total babe. That's what's important, right? Chipz, who's your favorite waifu or husbando?
I actually don't have one. I've never really put any thought into that. Mm-hmm. So I'm wow,
catching all these people off guard. Crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
You're like,
I'm off guard.
Didn't see that coming.
At all, to be honest.
Yeah, so in that case, do you play many anime video games, and what kind of anime video games do you like, and what do you like about them? Because I figured we could kind of use that as a backup topic, too. If the waifu thing didn't, like, have enough merit to actually make a good conversation, I was like, okay, hold on. Let's add a little to this just in case. Because also, I like anime games generally. Like, we were just talking about Tales, and I fucking love that series, among others.
Actually, if I had to go with an anime video game, damn, I don't really have that many anime video games. but if I had to pick someone, I would say the teacher from Final Fantasy VIII. I know that's not necessarily like an anime video game. Yeah,
No,
I feel like
I
Final
think
Fantasy
it was-
counts as
I think
anime.
it was.
Like
Yeah,
Final
I would-
Fantasy VII and after, I feel like definitely counts as anime.
her or oh my god, the one that you fight is not Ultimisia, but the other one.
Fuck, what was her name? It was the first witch that you fight.
Yes. Yeah.
Was it like Edia or something like that?
I think so. Let me Google it real quick.
Like, okay, I'm like that. No, that makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. I think it's Edia or Edia.
Yeah.
Yep, Edia Kramer. That's weird. Why is her name Edia Kramer?
She's like got kind of a fantasy first name, and then her last name is just the dude from Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Right?
like now that it's making me rethink life. Like, what? I don't know if I should pick this one. But yeah, she's
The illusion's shattered.
yeah, right.
Like, how
Imagine.
many other times have you heard the name Kramer? Like, they have to be related, don't they?
Too many times, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard of
Um,
anybody else named Kramer, but I don't know. Might just not be a popular name in Colorado or something. I don't know.
Maybe I'm just scarred from what is it? It's not Friends.
It's,
Seinfeld?
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Turns out the actor's like, I forget what he did, but apparently he's like a huge piece of shit. I don't know.
Oh yeah. He said the N-word a few times.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
would do it. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that guy, apparently.
Yeah.
Well,
But I mean, otherwise the show was shit. I never watched it. Never really
Oh.
cared for it. Friends was more my vibe, to be
Okay.
honest.
I don't know. I was, like, never really big into sitcoms until, like, How I Met Your Mother, so...
That was actually a really good one. I like that.
I liked that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
How do you feel about How I Met Your Father? Have you heard all the stuff about that? I haven't
I
haven't
did.
been like following it, but apparently Hilary Duff is gonna star, and it's gonna be like basically the same thing, but like totally different cast of characters, and it's gonna be from a female perspective instead. So I'm like, this is kind of interesting. I didn't know Hilary Duff still existed. Like, I haven't heard that
Interestingly-
name in a long time. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Wow.
I haven't heard that name in a long time. It's just like,
interestingly, she's kind of like the only few Disney stars who've actually stayed clean. If you get what I mean, they've stayed.
right, yeah.
haven't
It's
gone
not
into that.
There's
like,
a lot
yeah.
more money to be made by
Yeah.
shedding the squeaky clean image.
Yeah, I think a lot of Disney stars just go completely the other side, just go into drugs and they go into all sorts of weird stuff.
right.
So I think, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of series, Star Wars is getting a revival with Obi-Wan Kenobi having his own show.
Yeah, and
And,
Ewan McGregor is even coming back,
he's-
isn't he? Which
Yeah,
is
he's
cool.
reprising his role as Obi-Wan. So
yeah.
I'm
I am
interested
on
to
board
see
for
how
that. I
that's
love-
gonna be.
Because I actually think that was like one of the strongest bits of the prequels was his performance as Obi-Wan, as well as Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor, and just the Emperor actually really, and all the crazy ass political shit that was kind of going on in the background there was like really what made the prequels worth watching. So yeah, between the two of them. Just a ton of talent, so
Absolutely.
I'm very excited about that one. And then I'm kind of excited to see if it like ties into Mandalorian at all, or the Boba Fett show that's coming out too. So there's a lot of potential there, and I'm like, I don't know how I would spend that potential, but I'm curious to see how whatever the showrunners are end up doing with it.
Don't judge me, but
Yeah.
I still haven't watched Mandalorian yet.
Mandalorian's a really good time. If you like good Star Wars action, I think it's definitely the kind of thing you'll dig. It's it's a different kind of storytelling than a lot of the Star Wars universe has gone through, but I think it's really unique to what it is, and it's just a really fun show to watch.
Okay. I mean, I know what happens in the end, so obviously I'm not going to spoil that. But
He skipped
There's
an entire 2 seasons. I was
No,
like,
I didn't.
oh yeah.
I didn't do it intentionally though, because if you're on Twitter or Facebook, it's just all over the place.
Yeah.
There's just no avoiding it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard sometimes.
It is. What can you do?
If you're on the internet, you get spoiled.
I had that with all I always know what things to avoid for spoilers, but then for things that I am not 100% sure on, I get spoiled on, and then I watch them later or something, and I'm just like, oh fuck, I got spoiled on that. The last thing I got was there's a movie that came out last year right before the pandemic all hit. Was is a World War II movie, I think, or World War One maybe, and basically the whole movie was shot in a way to make it seem as though it was like one continuous shot from the start of the movie to the end of the movie, with one small stop in the middle where a character gets knocked unconscious, and other than that, it's like one continuous shot from the start of the movie to the end of the movie. And I feel like if I had watched that and discovered it naturally, it would have been a billion times better. But I read that in a some kind of I didn't even read the article. It was like the headline in an article, and I just was glancing at it, and I was like, oh, that's a really cool idea. And then I watched it and I knew it, and so I the entire movie I was just distracted by looking for the tricks they might use to make it appear as though it's one shot, because of course you can't literally make a 2-hour movie in one shot, so they had to use camera tricks and stuff like that, and it was still but I feel like if I hadn't known that it was gonna all look like one shot until I was actually watching it, it would have been way better.
Oh yeah,
You
definitely.
have to burn that.
Yeah.
Well, coming back to anime and being the super Dragon Ball fan that I am, is anyone reading the manga these days?
Is the manga still going?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Super manga.
Dragon
I
Ball
realized
Super is still
was
going.
still
Wow.
going. I thought it ended after that multi-universal tournament.
No, the anime actually went on hiatus, and it's still been on hiatus for quite a while. But the manga actually carried on. So the manga, what they did, the anime was actually shot before they started the manga again, and in the Tournament of Power, the manga was completely different. So, for example, I mean, Kefla actually fought against Gohan in the manga, and then Master Roshi actually demonstrated Ultra Instinct. That was the first time Ultra Instinct actually happened, was through Master Roshi, and he
Really?
gets knocked out by Jiren. Yeah, in the manga.
Oh.
Oh,
I don't actually know what Ultra Instinct is, because I felt like the Dragon Ball Super series was one of the most boring animes I've ever watched, and I was just can't do it.
You only watched the parts that were covered better in the movies, I think, is what happened.
That's what I've been told, so I'm maybe I'll just watch the movie at some point, but it's I don't know. I'm not a super Dragon Ball fan anyway. I like Dragon Ball. I really my favorite one was the old Dragon Ball where they were all kids and shit. And then Dragon Ball Z I liked pretty well to a point, but once it got into the Boo saga, the Cell saga was I feel the upper limit of my patience in so far as how much can you drag out one fight scene. And then the Boo saga took that to the next level, and I was I watched it, but I hated myself for watching it a little bit. And I was I'm kind of glad I watched it, but the fuck is wrong with me?
I definitely lost patience about halfway through the Boo saga and just stopped watching.
Yeah. And then GT came in, and I was just like, what the fuck's even going on?
GT doesn't exist. That's just not a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not anymore.
Then I got back into it with Dragon Ball Kai, and everybody else hated that for some reason, because I think they watched, like, to be fair, like, the Nickelodeon version was censored so badly, so I think maybe that was it, but the version that they put on Adult Swim, I was like, this is just the same Dragon Ball I know, but, like, you know, with better animation. So, you know, like...
But what was really the difference? Because I watched a couple episodes, and I didn't
know.
notice
As
anything.
far as I could tell, the remake was like mostly the same. They got back all the voice actors to re-record the dialogue with higher fidelity equipment. And other than that, I don't know if they really changed anything. But I do know that the Nickelodeon version was heavily censored. So it might have just been that like they cut out a lot of swear words. They'd like you know, cover up certain pieces of clothing on particular waifus, so and all that. But yeah, other than that, like it was like watching the same thing again. Hey, look, a Howling Stone. Who can I dude, if I can do this with 1 second of input lag, you all have to buy me a beer.
I mean, I already have to buy you 12. Do you want to make that 13?
Yes. More beer?
That's a good deal.
Okay, I fucked it up once. For every fuck up I have to drink at the end of this. Okay, let's keep a tally here. 1 fuck up.
Okay.
Did it work? Not quite. Okay, 2 fuck ups. Okay. I got it! Alright, 3rd try. I'm alright with 1 second of input lag. Only have to drink twice, which I will gladly do. Oh, except I have to do it again to actually finalize it. I forgot about this. Fuck. Okay, there's 1 fuck up, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. Didn't take that.
So, anime games.
Yeah. Well, for
What's
me,
your favorite?
the only real anime games I've played is Dragon Ball Z, Kakarot, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Dragon Ball
2 more.
Fighter Z.
Oh, and the Naruto games.
And I guess when I say anime games, I don't mean like
It doesn't have. Yeah, it's just like anime style games. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, like based off of a real anime series or something. I was what I was thinking.
Like
so
the
you know,
Tales
like the Tales games, like they're definitely an anime style, especially since they include like anime cutscenes. But like then there's like Genshin Impact is like an anime style stuff like that. Which I don't play that. But I know Crow, who's been on the podcast several times, has played that occasionally. I'm not sure if he's big into it. I don't remember, but.
Yeah, I have to jump back into that. It's actually a fun game. There's a lot to do, and you have like a lot of freedom to do different things.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to jump back into that game. I just wish that they would have controller support for the mobile. You know, because you can pick up on
that would kind of kill it for me.
and
That's something that kills mobile games for me a lot. Is that I'm just like, this would be great if I could use a controller. Like I picked up when they ported Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic to mobile.
Oh wow!
I thought it was such a cool idea, and then I played it, and I was like, this is so awkward in a mobile interface. I don't want to use my touchscreen. Can I plug in my controller? Nope. So I'm like, let me use my fucking controller. Like, that's what I love about Xbox Game Pass, is that everything on there, on the streaming service, I can literally use this here dongle, to plug in my Xbox 360 controller, and I can play anything on my phone with an Xbox 360 controller.
Wow.
And that is one of the best. And you can use literally any controller that connect to your phone will work on the Xbox Game Pass. And that's one of the magic things about it, is that mobile gaming sucks. But Xbox Game Pass gives you quote unquote real game. You know, I'm like, if you like mobile games, I'm not going to judge you, right? Like if all you want to play is Candy Crush, more power to you. That's fine. But personally, for me, I want like a bigger, more in-depth experience like you can get from some of these games. And I want to, like, in a lot of cases, it's just better with a controller. And the fact that you can like play Xbox games with, technically, because they're Bluetooth, a PlayStation 4 controller or a Switch controller, you can just connect them and play Xbox Game Pass with that. And that is one of the coolest things about it. And I'm just like, why don't mobile games that are made for mobile do this, right? If Xbox Game Pass can do this, where it's streaming games from a literal Xbox in a data center somewhere, why the fuck can't you figure out how to do it on my phone that's actually running the game?
Totally.
Which I'm not a programmer, so that might actually be ridiculously complicated. I have no idea. So sorry if I'm judging you too harshly, but fucking make it happen.
I mean, I agree with you, right? Because if you're not used to using your phone and constantly like having your whole hand close together like this and touching screens, it presents a problem, especially, for people with bigger hands. They need a bigger controller. Like, let's say a PS5 controller linked with your phone, and to be able to play your games, it just makes more sense to...
Talking about people with big hands, and you're literally talking to, like, the one guy in the world that fucking loves the Wii U gamepad. Like, it's big.
So you're a perfect example of it.
Fuck yeah.
Like... Why handicap your audience when you can incorporate that kind of technology into your game?
If they made controller supported games that ran really good, that were as big, like, in scale as, like, modern games like Zelda and, like, God of War or whatever, I would gladly fork over $60 to play, like, a God of War scale game on my phone with a controller, a Zelda scale game with on my phone with a controller. And phones are getting so much more powerful now. My phone right now outclasses my Switch so fucking hard.
Yeah.
This thing is the new 5G Samsung Galaxy. It's not even the new one. It's the last year new one. And it outclasses the Switch in literally every single technical aspect. Why can't I get a game that is half as, like, expansive as Breath of the Wild? Like, literally, this thing could run Breath of the Wild if you made it.
Without a doubt.
It would theoretically not even be a terrible port job, because Breath of the Wild is already made to run on a mobile console.
Right. Well, they would have to even give you more visual options, right? Because phones now can run 2K graphics, right, on their screen, or 4K graphics on their screen. So they would have to redo that game to support both formats. And I mean, I think it's possible. It's just at some point it comes down to the budget, right? Like how much they can spend to even try to implement that kind of technology.
That's fair.
It's, I mean, because you gotta pay people for their time, right? This is a lot of time that's going into it. So you gotta take all of that into account when talking about developing games for mobile. But I think right out the gate, it should have controller support for like every game. It's, like I said, it's handicapping your audience who's not used to playing on a cell phone.
Yeah, and I feel like of all things, theoretically, controller support should be a relatively simple thing to implement, because like you just have to let the thing recognize inputs as the inputs that would otherwise be there, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm not an expert, but it's, to me it feels like that should be like on the easier side of development things.
Totally makes sense.
Oh, I died. I have to drink. Those guys were a little difficult. I'm not sure when I lost all those hearts, but I did.
I mean, they take off one heart with a swipe.
Do
And
they?
also,
Okay, because I
kept
suddenly
running into
noticed
walls.
that I was like, yeah, I was running into the walls, but also I suddenly noticed that I was just, oh, some of these steam vents got me too. Oh, no, they don't do damage. They just push you back. Okay. Anyways. But yeah. Let me play your fucking game with my controller, you bastards. Moving on. We are past our runtime, so if you guys would like to do our table topic, we can move on to that. Or we can just call it here if you guys are good or have to go or something. So how do you guys feel? Do you want to go for another 20-minute, 30-minute discussion, or are we tapped out for the evening?
I can stick
I'm
around.
good.
Good as in good to go, or good as in good to keep going?
No. I'm good to keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
All right.
I
So
could go for another 20 or 30 minutes.
nice. All right. So let's get into our table topic, which you guys, I don't think, are as big tabletop RPG players as me or Chris. You play any Dungeons and Dragons, Chips? I don't remember from the last time.
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I was waiting for this all night. All right. So
All right. Chris,
played-
can we introduce the table topic real quick? Or what were you gonna say, Chips?
no. Go ahead.
All right.
I just want to make sure if it's better to like have what you were gonna say or introduce the topic first, because I did tell you guys the topics earlier, so I was like, just want to make sure there. Okay.
I will say, Sean,
Uh-huh.
you might want to play All Seers Lair.
Oh yeah, we have a theme song for this too. Hold on while I find my hello, Crom. Sorry, Crom's next to my bagpipes because, I'm not sure what that means. I feel like there was a joke in there somewhere. Oh fuck, I'm getting hit by. Where's the start button on the? I haven't played Wii U in like forever. I'm like looking in the top corner and there's like no start button. I'm like, where is it? Alright, and that was that, except I fucked it up a lot because I don't know if I'm just like slightly too drunk for my fingers to work or what, but I have to drink for that. And I'm almost out of beer, so I'm going to go get another beer.
Well, for what it's
Chris,
worth, I'm pretty sure none of us could hear it because, Discord.
Right, damn you,
Best
Discord.
anime to make a tabletop RPG, and if you're not looking for a particular anime to adapt, what anime elements to add to tabletop RPGs? And I got two good answers, one for each of these, but other people should go first. Chips,
I'll let you take this one.
All right. Well, basically, in terms of tabletop RPGs, I'm not super familiar with them, but last night I was doing a bit of research on what it was. And in terms of, based on what I've researched and everything, I think an anime that would make a good tabletop RPG would be Seven Deadly Sins. Are you familiar with that show?
I watched a little bit of it on Netflix. It's kind of an interesting concept, but I didn't get very far into it.
I think it would make for a very good tabletop RPG, especially given the breadth of characters that are around in the show. Like you have the Sin of Wrath, the Sin of Pride, and these have their different characteristics and different qualities. So I feel as if it would actually be made to be a good anime adaptation for an RPG. But I think in general,
Just dropped my fucking
anime
Wii
series
U
is
on the floor.
Oh,
Literal
that's,
console
Oh, dear.
just fell off. I just bumped it like a jackass. The game is still running, so good old Nintendo is apparently tough as shit.
Yep.
I don't
Cheers
know where
to
my
Nintendo, I guess.
stand is, so I have to put that sideways for now. But yeah, the game is still running, and meteors are still hitting me in the fucking head. Where are these fucking bugs? Anyways, go on.
I
Sorry
was
for
thinking
that.
in terms of our tabletop RPGs, I think anime series which are based on magic are the best candidates for adaptation. So another one would be Fairy Tail. I mean, I know a lot of people go on about Fairy Tail being this show which is all about the power of friendship prevails, but I'm a huge fan of Fairy Tail. It's one of my favorite animes of all time, and I think even certain things that happened in the show kind of make me think, yeah, that would be a good adaptation. And also, there's one called Black Clover. I'm not sure you heard of that one.
I've heard of
based
it,
on
but
magic.
I haven't watched it.
Asta and
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the concept. If you're not familiar with Black Clover, the best way of explaining it is imagine a world a bit like Harry Potter, where except people with magic are in the minority. Here, in this world, people with magic are in the majority. And then the main character, who's Asta, he is basically, one of the only muggles, or people with no magic. But he wants to become the Wizard King of that country, or of that world. So it's him, but he gets the powers of the devil.
Squib tries to take over the world.
Of a devil.
that's a spoiler, but yeah.
Yeah, he gets the power of the A devil, yes. And he wants to become the Wizard King one day, and the strongest mage in the country. So it's quite an interesting. It's also one of my favorite animes. I haven't actually watched all of it yet. I think they've done 170 episodes and done the major arcs, and then I think now they're taking a break.
As a One Piece fan, 170 episodes, that's nothing. No.
I do
Not,
gotta
not
say,
compared to One Piece with 860 something or
They
1,000
are over
episodes.
1,000 now. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
They
nah,
passed
fuck
1,000 early this year, I think.
that. Yeah, I'm not watching it.
I'm pretty sure he'll stop drawing the manga when he's dead.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
Not before
well,
that.
right now I'm also watching Pokemon as well, and that's got over 1,000. episodes in
Pokemon
total.
actually has more episodes than One Piece.
Well,
It does.
technically, they do it by regions, and of course, in conjunction with the games that come out. So they're not.
Yeah.
They're
So,
not
like, if you watched, like,
they're not
one
exactly
series,
linear, but like
yeah.
it's still sort of related. Like this new season, kind of like brings back stuff from the old seasons.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, the English VA of Jessie just died just recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which
too bad. I
which
heard
ones?
that
I think they replaced them like twice.
I heard that, like, the Spanish VA died. Was it the Spanish
Oh.
VA?
Yeah.
It may have
Because
been
I'm not
the
being-
English VA.
Yeah, because also there was one of the Japanese voice actors from something else. I think it was the Japanese, narrator for Dragon Ball.
No, the Japanese voice actor for Bulma died.
Oh, was it Bulma?
That was a few years ago, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a really heartbreaking
Mhm.
incident
Yeah.
because they blew up Dragon Ball balloons and like had it at her funeral. It was
Mhm.
heartbreaking.
Oh, yes. To-
But as far as an anime that would be a good tabletop RPG, I want to say Attack on Titan just because I want to see destruction.
that could.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Death and-
idea, actually.
Death and destruction all around you would be a a funny yet intriguing way to maneuver the board and to progress the storyline of the game. It would be interesting to see that.
Yeah, I've only watched the first season of Attack on Titan, but I thought it was
see any of it,
I
yeah.
thought it was pretty good. And it was funny though, because like I thought it was like much more compelling when everybody was totally fucked and people were dying like 3 times an episode, and then like later in the season it's like, oh, hold on, we have a way to fight the Titans, and I was like, oh, it's happy now. Come on, I liked it when it was depressing and gory and everybody was fucked.
It kind of went
Well,
a change on you.
Yeah.
yeah,
I jumped in.
I'll say they don't necessarily really have a way to fight the Titans. It's just they think they do, but they don't.
Right, yeah. At the
You know?
end of season 1, they definitely think they do, and it presents it like they do. So that's actually kind of interesting. I might have to check that out, because I haven't watched it since, like, because when I watched it, it was like they put, I think the first season was the only season at the time that they put on Netflix.
Yeah.
There's a bird. Where'd this guy come from? Yeah, so I haven't. It's been quite a while. So if I went back, I might even rewatch the first season just to like refresh my memory on all what the fuck happened.
Yeah, you have a lot of catching up to do. It's really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, another anime came to my mind in terms of an RPG. Have you heard of Rising of the Shield Hero?
Yes.
Yes.
I have
Yes,
also
that is an
heard of
amazing,
it, but I have not watched
an amazing anime.
I love the anime. Like,
It's so
a lot.
good.
it's amazing.
That one is so good.
That would be an epic RPG, I think, especially when you have a shield hero, a spear hero, and a sword hero.
Actually,
Right.
you're going to tell me Konosuba is going to be an amazing RPG. Although, to be fair, that probably properly describes like the dynamics of most D&D groups. So, you know.
I've seen Konosuba, and you know what? It's one of those anime which it's total crap. It is rubbish, but there's something that hooks you into it for some reason.
Shit.
It's
just
it's a very effective like send up of like isekai anime tropes.
Our buddy Tyler always talks about that one, but I haven't watched it either.
I think it's very good. I would highly recommend it, but you have to
Okay.
kind of be familiar with what it's parodying to get at least the jokes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it! Why do I suck so much? Oh, I know, because it's 1 second of input lag.
But
Fuck
it's
you,
all
capture
the
card.
characters there are, I'm pretty sure, are characters that your average player who showed up at a D&D game would make and annoy the shit out of you with. So, so Rising of Shield Hero. Sorry, I interrupted.
That's alright.
Yeah, so there's different kinds of heroes in that or something? Because that does kind of sound interesting as a tabletop concept.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, you have 4 characters who go back into this kind of game type of world, gaming kind of world where it's like in the medieval times, and then each one is like supposed to be this heralded hero. So one is like sword hero, one's a shield hero. Well, the main character is a shield hero.
And I think there's a bow.
Yeah, bow hero. And the shield hero gets it quite rough because for some reason, I'm not going to really go into spoilers, but whatever. But the people of that country don't seem to like the shield hero for reasons. I mean, I don't even know yet what they are properly because it's only been season 1 yet. So, but you just have to watch it really to truly appreciate it.
Yeah,
Real quick,
they
my second beer of the week is Wreak Havoc Imperial Red Ale. This is from Bootstrap Brewery, which is out in Niwot, Colorado, which is this tiny little town in the middle of nowhere, but they have a really great brewery, so stop there if you're ever like on a road trip or some shit and you see Niwot, Colorado. Check them out. They got a really good brewery. Yeah, Bootstrap Brewery is a really cool place. And I like their mix packs because most mix packs, they're like, yeah, we'll give you 3 cans of 4 beers or 4 cans of 3 beers, and these guys are like, no, we're gonna give you 2 cans each and you get 6 kind of beer in your mix pack, and I'm just like so on board with that. So check them out. Go ahead, Chipz.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, it's a very interesting concept on how they decided to formulate that story with, nobody liking the shield hero, and how fast he has to make certain adjustments just to survive. It's an interesting concept and a really good anime. You guys should check it out.
Okay.
And then there's one character in it who obviously I'm not going to spoil, but might be possibly the most hated anime character of all time, and for good reason. But I can't really go into why. So you just have to watch it to understand. Probably will have that same view.
You're gonna have some trouble timing that, aren't you, Sean?
Maybe. I don't remember how to do this exactly, because it comes up when you're close, so I don't remember how to... Usmania, you're big into this game. Do you remember how to pass this vent? Just because I'm like,
I think
you
were
just
doing
run really
you were doing
fast?
it right just there, or you just...
Well, because when you get... this is the one when you get close, it turns on. So do you just have to be running really fast, or... I don't remember.
The ledge. I'd say try and do what you were doing. Kind of hang off the ledge
Slide
and just...
all along the ledge.
Yeah, slide all
Oh,
along.
can you like slide along the ledges? Oh fuck! If I don't get... No, I can't slide along the ledge like in Wind Waker. Ah fuck!
Oh.
I'm dead again. Damn it! You've led me astray. I have to drink. There's my
Honestly,
swallow drink.
despite how much praise I sing of the game, I've not played it for a while
Right.
because I've just been waiting for it to come on the Switch.
Busy and
So
other
I can
stuff.
play
Yeah.
the
That's fair. Like it,
play the-
if they come out with this on Switch, then I would be much more likely to like play it through again there than finish the playthrough in progress I have here on Wii U. Not that I dislike my Wii U, but like just I have so much more time to play on Switch because my job like lends itself well to playing on Switch because I have like a lot of downtime on my job, which is just one of the benefits of being a school bus driver is I have a 4-hour break in the middle of the day. So, and even on the days that I don't have a 4-hour break, I have 2 like hour-and-a-half breaks. So, still kind of works.
Well, when I was before the pandemic struck, where I was commuting to was about 2 hours away from my house by train. So whenever I used to go in, it was probably once a week. So I had plenty of time to switch. So I managed to play Luigi's Mansion 3, managed to play bit of Breath of the Wild on my journeys and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, so I did a lot of gaming on the train with the Switch.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of that too. The trains out here in America are just not as good as the trains out there. I've experienced the trains in Scotland at least when I was visiting there, and it's just like really all of your public transportation is a billion times better. Like even just going somewhere by bus is a billion times better. Like when you go on a bus in America, you're sitting next to 3 guys and all of them are doing different types of drugs, and it is fucking freaky. So you avoid it, so you got a goddamn car and you drive yourself, right? That is how America works. But, it's...
description of riding a bus in Denver.
The what?
I've never heard a better description of riding a bus in Denver, or riding the light rail in Denver.
Right, yeah. The light rail isn't as bad, because the light rail is relatively new, so I don't think all of the hobos have realized it's there yet, because they're on fucking drugs. But, it's still like... actually, I don't mind the light rail so much. It's just, like, the bus is awful, and the light rail is like... The light rail's alright. I don't mind the light rail. But it doesn't go nearly as many places. It's not as versatile as like any train over in the UK that I've had experience with, which is admittedly just Scotland, but it's, I assume it's similar in other parts of the UK to how it was in Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, I live in a little town here, which is in the north of England, which is not far from the Scottish border, about an hour away. Mm-hmm. But we have a direct train to London, which is about 2.5 hours. So it's pretty. You said it's quite robust.
Because Chris and I live in actually slightly different suburbs right outside of the Denver area, which is like by train it's actually probably only like about 15 minutes, I think, from half an
hour or so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Damn it. Stupid.
It's not far.
Yeah, so it's
Chips,
not
you live
bad.
in New York, don't you?
Huh?
Oh yeah,
You
where
live
are
in
you,
New York,
Chips?
don't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Trains are shit. Trains are bad. You know.
Except for you
buses-
guys can't drive
buses
because
are
if you do,
horrible.
you'll have to give up your parking space.
No,
Is
that
that-
depends on where in New York.
Right, yeah.
You're driving. Like,
I always
I mean,
thought
I
that
have-
bit that they did in How I Met Your Mother was hilarious. How, like, Ted bought a car and then he got a great parking space and he never drove it again. You know, and I was just like,
Yeah,
I imagine that is exactly how every New Yorker feels. But, having never been to New York, I can't exactly say myself. I'm like,
it's close. It's close.
right. But as a
there-
professional driver, I've always also been curious of, like, to go to another place, and because, like, I drive a school bus as my day job, and I've always like I feel like Denver has its interesting intricacies of, like, traffic patterns and weird shit that it has going on, but a lot of drivers that I've heard have, like, told me, oh, Chicago's terrible, oh, New York is terrible, LA is terrible, wherever, and I'm like, I kind of want to go to these places just to see how shitty the driving is, because as a professional driver, I feel like it's probably about the same amount of shitty, just for totally different reasons. I've
feel
always been morbidly curious to drive in the shittiest traffic in LA and New York and Chicago, just to see the difference between how fucked up it is compared to Denver.
I feel like
Because
Colorado,
traffic is fucked up in Denver, because everything is a one-way street, and that's our problem.
I feel like Colorado and Texas traffic is shitty for the same reason.
This
Like,
beer
the
is
river
empty, and I tried to
traffic
drink it anyway, which means I have to drink. This is the beer with beer in it. Put this over here somewhere, so I don't accidentally try to drink an empty beer. What a dumbass. Like a fucking idiot put hot sauce in his eyes or something.
I want to do that. I want to do that again.
Wouldn't recommend it.
Let's see. So, you know what anime I would turn into a tabletop? Would be probably JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I've heard a
Really?
buttload about that too, but it's also one I have no experience with. I'm
I think
interested
it's
for your take there.
Stand battles and, like, the mechanics behind stands translate really well to kind of the team play niche protection environment of a tabletop RPG. Where it's like everyone has, like, their one special power, and it can be, and it's usually something very different. So it's already kind of a game system of itself.
So in that case, would you think Yu-Gi-Oh would make a good tabletop RPG system? Because it's literally a game system. Hold on, is there an anime about playing tabletop RPGs? I feel like there has to be, doesn't there?
I don't.
There were
Might be. I'll be surprised.
episodes. There were some chapters of Yu-Gi-Oh where they played tabletop RPGs.
There were in the manga, yeah. Because the anime was like the card game got popular in the manga, and so they made a spin-off anime that was literally nothing but the card game. Although actually, even in that, they had a tabletop RPG because they had the weird dude Duke Devlin with the dungeon dice monsters, and it was that was cheesy as shit, and it was kind of awesome for it. Actually, in the original, I remember there was this really cool. Actually, I remember, like, as a young teenager, like 14 or 13 or something, reading the Yu-Gi-Oh manga. There was a tabletop RPG that they played in there that I actually tried to recreate the rules for and, like, make it into my own tabletop RPG, and I had completely forgotten about that until exactly this moment. And yeah, you had, like, these cool different classes and shit, like you could be a demon knight and all this stuff, and Yugi kicked whoever's ass it was at it or whatever, because yeah, I don't remember anymore because it's been so fucking long since I've read the manga for Yu-Gi-Oh. I rewatched the anime when they put it on Netflix, and that was a fucking trip. And I was just like, dude, what the fuck was I smoking when I was 12?
I mean, like, the first episodes of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga is basically Yugi torturing people to death.
Yeah,
I know, and it's so fucked up, and it's awesome.
Really?
I just like all the stupid fucked up mangas.
Yeah, he's like this Punisher kind of. He's like a supernatural Punisher who just
Yeah.
goes around punishing people's crimes and
Right,
just putting them
just
through
like,
some messed up
what?
stuff.
You're a pervert? You are addicted to porn? Okay, now everything you see will be like digital mosaic so that it's censored out for you for the rest of your life. Just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That is so creepy and on such a meta level. It is awesome. I love the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga. That is something I would fucking watch again. Why have they not made that shit into an actual series?
I think they did, and it's just
Japan.
They want
Fuck! I died. God damn it! Stupid meteors. I still don't know what to do about this vent.
But
It was called Season 0, isn't it?
yeah, season 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I would say is that the stand battle JoJo's Bizarre Adventure thing, where it's like, oh, you have psychic punch ghosts, and also they have a special power. Like, one guy has the ability to punch things, and whatever he punches, he can turn like zippers in and like unzip shit. So he can like create exits for himself, or he can like punch somebody's limbs and like unzip their limbs off of their body, like steal them.
That's freaky.
And then what is it? It's like another guy has like the power to control the iron, and he can pull like the iron out of people's bloodstreams and turn it into spikes and like nails and shit.
Like that thing that Magneto did in X-Men 2?
Pretty much exactly that.
Or just a crazier version of Avatar with the blood bending.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's
You know what? Actually, I had an interesting. A friend of my wife's at work actually asked about, like, he was interested in D&D, but he was like, "Hey, can we do a D&D system that's all like based around Avatar?" And that's not exactly an anime, but it's like clearly going for an anime-inspired art style. So I was like, I feel like that's adjacent enough that I can bring it up, right? At the very least, it's my podcast. Fuck you. There are no rules. The rules are drink. Shut up and drink. But anyways, so I actually got into this actually, and I wrote up like homebrew rules for 3.5 D&D that were like Avatar benders. And I don't remember how far I got, but it was a thought project that I did that at some point I theoretically could run, maybe. I also wrote up homebrew rules for 3.5 D&D to play Dragon Ball Z, and we actually played a couple of sessions of that, me and Chris.
yeah.
And some of our buddies.
Yeah, Josh ended up not your brother Josh, different Josh ended up playing the Krillin.
Yeah, the Krillin was like the most broken class, because Krillin is so cool that he gets his own class. But he was only the most broken class in a team dynamic. By himself, he was shit, but he like buffed everybody else, and if he was buffing people, then he got the same buffs. So he was he was the most broken class, but if he was on his own, he would like totally die horribly. It was I thought it was a clever class, even if it really didn't have much to do with Krillin as a character in Dragon Ball Z. I thought I had fun designing that class, and I think that everybody had fun with it as a concept, playing in this system.
So I guess what I'd say in terms of like anime inspiration for tabletop systems is why I picked JoJo's is the kind of the one power per person and it has to be something unique thing is something that is very easy to translate into tabletop RPGs.
The bug I have been looking for has been invisible in this pond of non-invisible bugs this entire fucking time, and I've been wasting my time trying to find out how to get past this goddamn geyser because I'm a fucking moron! And I just died again. Go ahead.
Alright.
Sorry for interrupting you there, Chris. I have to point out when I'm an asshat.
And I feel like a lot of modern day anime, particularly like the isekai stuff, kind of got its inspiration from, like, it can trace its roots directly back to D&D in terms of the classes and like HP and all of that.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of animes recently that I've heard of but haven't watched that like have something like that relates back there. If not like a direct like reference back to D&D. Our buddy Tyler watches a lot of anime, and he was telling me about, oh, have you watched that one time I got reincarnated as a slime? Or
yeah.
when is it appropriate to pick up girls in a dungeon? And several of these things that just totally sound like D&D adventure, or like Overlord is another one I think that sounds like a lot like D&D inspired.
Overlord is pretty great. I really enjoyed Overlord.
Mm-hmm. And
How about Inuyasha?
I liked Inuyasha okay. What I've seen of it, I feel like it went on kind of long, and I was like just not patient enough for it. And then somehow I became a One Piece fan. So explain that. I don't fucking know. But
Well, Inuyasha, I feel like the storytelling style of Inuyasha is totally different from One Piece. Like, Inuyasha has a totally different kind of storytelling dynamic. It's like, technically, it's like you take any of the settings of these animes, and you're like, yeah, you could put that in a tabletop RPG, that would work fine. But it's, in terms of like replicating the kind of like highs and lows that you get out of the show, and kind of what the things that drive it, those are all totally different. It's like Shonen has kind of like the battle dynamic. Inuyasha is more. Inuyasha is like, I don't know. I haven't watched Inuyasha in a long time, but it's more like about relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on to episode, I think now, of that. So I was just talking in terms of, because they have like the demon who's Inuyasha, then you have the monk, and then the demon slayer who's got a giant boomerang, and then the person.
it
with
had
the
really
bow.
cool character
So-
design. I will definitely give it that, because Miroku was like one of my favorite Brocks of all time, I will call it, as the inexplicable pervert in the party, because every anime needs one of those for some reason, and I'm just like, I feel like it's
Sanji,
like,
haven't you?
yeah, the Sanji, or Moroku, or Brock, or Mineta from My Hero Academia, whoever it is.
Come on.
Yeah, Mineta's a fucking...
Mineta's just a-
Mineta's I'm annoyed
He's a
at,
character.
because that's like literally his only...
That's his only personality. Is
Yeah.
he's a pervert.
Yeah.
I'm like...
But he's a funny one.
He is funny sometimes, but it's like... I like Sanji, because he's got a little more going for him, because he's like determined, to find his ridiculous rumored place where all fishes live, the all blue that he's looking for. It's like this, it's that thing, and the fact that he's going out of his way to, other than being a pervert, like in other situations, he's like the most chivalrous person, despite being a pervert, or maybe, and that kind of couples down on the fact that he's a pervert, and it's like he's got more layers to him than just pervert. So it's like it kind of works, and it's like I still am not 100% sure how like I feel about like just the pervert character being a trope of animes. But, like, as far as pervert characters go, I feel like Sanji is one of the more interesting ones, because he's got more than just pervert going for him. So,
Well, I think a good type of character in that was Loki from Fairy Tail, But I think they kind of did him bad in the. Yeah, that's one of my major criticisms of Fairy Tail is that Loki actually started off as a very interesting character. It's probably my favorite character for the first kind of 2 parts of Fairy Tail because they're showing like why he was like that, because obviously he had this major traumatic kind of incident with his previous master, and then because of that, because he's a celestial spirit, that he was gonna die over a few years. So it kind of showed like why he became like that. Then as the series went along, that became his only kind of trait, which I think didn't really do well with that character. Interestingly, he's also voiced by the same character as Sanji as well.
Oh, the Japanese voice actor or the English one?
English.
Okay, Eric Vale is his name. He's a very good.
Eric Vale,
voice actor. Yeah, also did Future Trunks in the Dragon Ball series, as well as a number of other. Yeah, I follow him as a voice actor. He's a very good talent.
He's good, yeah.
I think he was somebody else in like Full Metal Alchemist also.
Oh yeah, he was the guy with the hat, wasn't it? The hat and the long hair. The alchemist who was the villain.
So there's always
I can't remember his name.
It's always kind of interesting dynamic. I feel like that was mostly a '90s thing, but I guess Monetta's still a character for some reason.
Right. Yeah. Because I feel like I kind of want to like Mineta, but I'm like, this is all he's got is his perviness. His power isn't even that cool. Right?
It's not. I've never understood the point of his powers.
Yeah, like, because the other heroes in My Hero Academia are like, oh yeah, I've got like this cool power that it has all this utility and I can do all this. And he's just like, I can throw sticky balls off my head, but if I throw too many, I bleed. So I'm not actually very useful in any situation, because if I throw more than like 5, then my head is bleeding and I have to stop. And it's like, the fuck, man?
Passed the hero exam. I don't get how the Invisible Girl passed the hero exam.
Exactly.
Because Invisible Girl is invisible. I don't know. She's just funny that she's there. Yeah. You forget she's there almost all the time until they like talk about her, and you're like, oh yeah. But yeah, we actually did a session of a My Hero Academia campaign on that note. That we did. I forget. Did we do like custom 3.5 rules, or maybe we did it in our
3.5 rules? We did like a power drafting system. Where we like 2 or 3 powers on index cards, and then shuffled them and drew them, and whichever one we drew was like one we got.
Yeah, and it was funny because one of our buddies, Peyton, who's been on the podcast one time, was in really. His favorite character is Froppy, and so he put Frog as the power, as one of the things, and I drew it, and I played this frog chick that was just a super whore, and she was just a terrible character, and he hated me for it. He was just like, stop it! You're fucking up Froppy, man!
I'd say my favorite My Hero Academia characters changed over time, like... When I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons, it was All Might. Then when he kind of went more to the backstage, then it became Lemillion. But then he loses his power. Now it's Endeavor.
Now it's Endeavor. Okay, that's a surprise.
Yeah. I don't know. I've kind of been like, the whole time I'm like rooting for these side characters that they only kind of care about. And I'm just like, I'm a really big fan of Lemillion since he came in, because I just got up on all of season 4. So I did really like Lemillion. So he's up there. But my favorite like characters as like a combo of how cool they are as a hero and how well written they are as a character, I think are Jiro, Earphone Jack, and Pinky.
The Acid Girl?
Yeah, Acid. Yeah, her hero name is Pinky. I'm trying to think of what her
Alien Queen.
Mina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mina Ashido. Yeah, and they're just both really cool characters in general, and like I liked Earphone Jack just as kind of a character, and it's funny because I was talking about you guys on this on Discord that I just caught up on season 4 of My Hero Academia, and like the last half kind of feels like filler, but it really fleshes out her character and kind of is like just like, oh yeah, here's how she is, and her parents are both musicians, but she decided to be a hero, but she still has that music like quirk to her. Not quirk as in power, quirk as in like part of her character. Anyways, yeah, and like for a lot of those episodes, I was like, this feels a little like filler. It's just like, okay, they're doing a high school party. It's fine. It's neat. Whatever. Fight a villain, damn it! But when it came to the very end of that kind of arc, they did that like big ass like high school show thing, and she was like, musicians are heroes. And that really spoke to me as a fucking idiot who plays his bagpipes on stream. So I was just like so on board with her. Like from day one, I was kind of on board with her, but right, like that really put the last thing in there, and solidified me as like a super Jiro fan. And I'm like, yes, musicians are heroes. We are fucking cool. Even if I'm slightly too drunk to play my bagpipes right. But, you know, yeah. All right. Does anybody have any final thoughts on what kind of things you'd like to make in a tabletop RPG out of... as much as we've kind of danced around that topic and mostly just talked about anime, but close enough. I think it's been a fun conversation. I've been having a great time. So if anybody has any closing thoughts, we could get those out of the way, or we could just go on to...
I would, as much as I'm aware that it would not work in a tabletop RPG, I would really love to see like a One Punch Man or a Mob Psycho 100 tabletop RPG.
Oh, that would be great.
In the system Chris and I made, we are developing a tabletop RPG, and we actually had a buddy of ours that tried to make One Punch Man kind of sort of in that...
He was much of a glass cannon.
Yeah, he wasn't quite One Punch Man because, like, he could kill anything in one punch. He did manage to customize that, but he didn't spend anything in any of his other stats, so, like, the first time any enemy hit him, it killed him. So, it was like, I'm glad that the customization is there for this, but that was funny. It was just such a wacky-ass thing, yeah. I also never quite got into One Punch Man. I watched the first couple episodes of that, and I never came back to it. Not because I was like, I didn't like it, but just like, I don't know, I got distracted by something else or something. I don't remember.
The funny
Go ahead. Sorry.
The funny thing with One Punch Man is that it's actually written as a comedy, but Saitama's the only comedic thing about it. He's like his separate kind of story about him being the fact that he beats people up with one punch. But the rest of the story is actually quite serious, especially in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fucking gag character. It's like,
yeah,
oh, the Fish King is gonna show up. Oh, he's trashing all these heroes. Oh, the S tier hero's showing up and giving him like a run for his money, but he spits acid on this innocent girl, and he dives to protect her, and then Saitama just shows up and hits him once, and he explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But one last thing, probably I would say, it's not really related to tabletop. Is I think I've asked this before last week on Discord, but how would you describe yourself in 3 anime characters?
Let me look up what I said, because I said something really good. Where's my phone? Damn it. Excuse me a moment while I look up shit on my phone so I can figure that out. Because I said something. One of them for me was Asakura Yo, who... thing.
Oh, from Shaman King.
Yes, Shaman King, which is getting a remake, and I'm so fucking hyped. I love that fucking series. That is so good. And the manga as well. I didn't read as much of the manga, but when I used to have a Shonen Jump subscription, I read several of the manga chapters, and the anime follows it just as well, I think. But it was funny though, because like I watched mostly the 4Kids anime as a kid, and then later as a teenager, I came back and watched the like subtitle version. With all the original dialogue and without all the cuts that 4Kids made, and I was like, oh man, this is dark, this is good. And it's not like too dark, like it's not like stupid bloody gory or as dark as like Berserk or whatever, but it's like it goes places, and it goes places that makes you feel things, and it was such a really cool anime that I'm definitely gonna check out that. Yeah. Who else did I say? Scrolling back here. Anybody else want to go? Well, I'm trying to find my post.
I am having some real fucking struggles.
But yeah, Asakura Yo is very, very much speaks to me, because at his core... Oh, here it is. Okay. So, yeah. So literally the words that I wrote are Asakura Yo, because he's once a lazy life and is willing to fight to the death for it. And that's kind of me. Like, I'm just like, I just want to, like, hang out and do shit. I don't want to do stuff. But I'm willing to work towards eventually being able to do that, right? Like when there's work to do, I will fucking do it. And so that as a character, he kind of spoke to me. Roranoa Zoro is One Piece character because he likes booze and he takes a nap all the time. And as a parent, you gotta love booze and you gotta love naps, right? Kamina Jiha, which at least Chris will recognize from Gurren Lagann.
You're going with the full-on Kamina route, huh?
Yeah, because Kamina has this kind of core value that whatever you believe is what you can do. And if you, like, to the point that he's just like, there's one of the other characters is like, I don't believe I can do this. And Kamina's just like, shut the fuck up. Believe in me who believes in you. And that's just such a thing that I really took to heart. That I'm just like, if you believe anything, you can push yourself to do it. You can make it actually happen. And it's like, it takes a lot of belief to get from point A to point B, but it is possible, whatever the fuck it is.
Seems good.
Yeah. Anybody else got an answer for that? You got an idea now, Chris? Or Chipz?
It's what I...
Nope.
Well, I went with Rengoku from Demon Slayer as one of them, because he's always got this optimistic kind of cheery attitude to everything. He's always smiling and like sometimes a bit bombastic with what he says at times. And then I also went with Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins, also a guy who's kind of smiling and always kind of wanting to overcome every challenge that comes his way, whatever the challenge is. So that spoke to me. And then the third one is Lark from Rising the Shield Hero. Again, someone who's... I think the kind of commonality there is the happy, optimistic kind of guy who wants to overcome every challenge in front of him. So I think there's the three characters I went with.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a really good choice too, actually. I'm kind of stuck.
Right?
Three anime characters that I would identify with. I want to say
Crom.
No,
No.
God no. So
But look at how sexy.
the main character from Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. I forgot his name, but the main character.
I
Just
haven't watched any
because
Gundam in a long time. The last one I think I watched was the one with the weird fighting tournament thing. But go on.
I don't know what that one is, but Iron Blooded Orphans is a good anime. You can add that to your list to watch it. It's good. Just because he's more of like the reserved, quiet type, but still gets things done. Hmm.
I think I've asked a
I want
tough
to
question
say,
actually.
yeah, that one's a really really tough one. I only got one so far.
Oh, that's good enough. If that's all you can manage for
It's
now.
funny because I haven't
Yeah.
watched any Gundam in a long ass time, but literally the first anime I ever watched was Gundam Wing.
Yeah, that was my first Gundam anime. There's like a whole lot, and none of them are necessarily related either, which is weird.
Right,
but they
yeah,
all
like,
kind of have
I've
the same
always kind of
storyline.
wondered if they were all, like, in a similar canon, or, because, like, some of them relate to each other, like, you look at, I used to watch, Gundam, the, like, first Gundam, whatever it was, with, Amuro Ray was the character, and there was, like, a side story in 8th MS Team, that was like it's the same Gundam war, but it's like different kind of perspectives on it. And Amuro Ray is kind of the main character of the whole story, but the 8th MS Team was like one of these other. They were like this like ragtag band of other Gundam pilots that like had legitimately no reason to win as many battles as they did, but somehow they were just scrappy enough to pull it off. And I fucking love that series because of it. It was awesome. Yeah, and but yeah, and then there was the Gundam where it was like this was the one because it was after Gundam Wing. And at the end of Gundam Wing, they had like this thing where they sent all the Gundams into the sun. And they were like, we're never going to fight with giant robots again because it's immoral and all that. And then like the next series premiered and they were just like having a big ass fighting tournament and everybody in the goddamn world had a Gundam. And I was like, how? That doesn't make any sense. So that was one where I think it was just like a different canon or something. And it was the main character was a guy called Domon, I think, and he had the Shining Gundam that had like the crazy fist attack thing, and it was a super cool like fun like anime tournament kind of thing, like the fighting tournaments in Dragon Ball Z kind of, but Gundam.
Right.
And so it was cool anime, but it was just like if you had like just watched Gundam Wing and they had like humanity had decided that Gundams were immoral, like watching that the next thing was just like what the fuck? They just did this. Are you sure they want to do this? This doesn't make any sense. So it's like
Yeah.
if you take it for what it is, it was fine, but it was like it was a weird step.
I guess the key word that take it for what it is.
Yeah. That's something I actually realized on a rewatching of Jurassic World. Because the first time I watched it, I was just like, oh, that movie wasn't that good. Because the whole time I was like looking for a reason for it to justify itself after the first 3 Jurassic Parks where they were just like, no, fuck everything, bomb the dinosaurs. Just stop it. You guys are fucking maniacs for creating these. And then the new one comes out and it's just like, hey, we're doing all the same dumb shit again. Wanna come? And it's just like the whole time I was watching it, I think I was just like distracted by that. But on a rewatching, I was just like, you know what? Whatever. I'm not gonna think about it. I'm just gonna watch it. And as a movie, it's a good movie. You know, as long as you can separate yourself from that fact.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the key to keep that in the forefront of your mind.
Yeah. Chris, you got any anime characters you'd relate yourself with?
Well,
Crumb!
I talked myself into 3, and then I came up with 4, so I'm not sure which one to cut.
Link!
There. What?
You didn't see Link coming, did you?
I did not say Link coming.
Got a sword.
Well,
Cut you.
I had to cut All Might from my list, so
You had to cut All Might from your list?
yeah.
Oh, I was going to say Midoriya for one of them.
All right.
Just because of the
I dig Midoriya.
Just kind of like the thinking through battle,
Thinking a lot too much.
thinking a lot too much kind of thing.
That's fair. That kind of...
to yourself. Also, like, kind of the idealism.
Seeing the way you play D&D, I kind of agree with that, yeah. I can see it.
And then Kenshin was another one. From Rurouni Kenshin. No matter what's going on with the author.
I never actually finished that. I got, like, partway through the arc after the Shishio thing. And then
I mean, finishes properly in the manga. The anime went a weird fucking direction. But, that's just... I don't know.
You know the guy that's, like, the kid that's, like, Shishio's, like, right-hand man? Kid?
I'm trying to remember that guy's name. The one who was almost as fast as Kenshin, or was, like, faster than Kenshin.
Yeah, and was just, like, also kind of brainwashed into thinking that, like, violence was the only solution. It was just, like, a little bit of a creepy, fucked up character. The voice actress that played the kid is in these local commercials for something, and I can't remember what it was now. They've been off the air for a couple of months, but I remember, like, listening to them on the radio on the bus, and just, like, I had just watched that part of the anime, and I was just like, I don't fucking trust you! I am not gonna go buy a car there, or whatever you're trying to sell me, because that character was so awesome and creepy and fucked up in just the right way that I loved it.
It's okay. They had a fight. It made Kenshin broke his brain, and then he was like, "Oh, I guess I'm wrong." And Kenshin said, "No, you're not wrong because you were defeated by me. You need to figure that out for yourself."
Yeah,
so
that's actually a kind of a neat story beat too.
Yeah, and I'm like, I like that. I kind of like that aspect.
Did you ever watch the live action Kenshin?
I watched the first one. Yeah.
Did you? Was it good?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. It was definitely, they made a lot of characters jobbers, but
because I was hard pressed to be like, because like I watched the trailer and I was like, this looks like kind of okay, but I'm skeptical for live action anime movies. After, like, because a lot of them I like, but I don't like them because they're good. Right? Like, Dragon Ball Evolution is one of my favorite fucking anime movies because it's so fucking over the top and, like, what the shit is even... Like, did you read the manga? I don't believe you did, but I am here for this stupid shit.
The Rurouni Kenshin movie is definitely much more of a movie. It's definitely much closer to the source material. It's definitely a much better movie.
Right. I watched the live-action Full Metal Alchemist too, and it like partway through. I didn't finish the movie. Oh,
that must have been horrible.
It was like, I felt like it was like okay, but it was held back by really cheesy special effects. Like the computer animation, like it felt like it was like done by like they didn't have a budget, so they like paid a college student in beer or something. And I'm like, you know what? I would do it for beer. But at the same time, like in a semi-professional movie based off of that big of an IP, it's like I just expected more out of it. And it's like, I didn't think it was awful, but it was just kind of boring through the first part that I didn't have enough time to finish it, but I never felt compelled to come back and finish it. So I was like, I'm a little sad now. It wasn't even bad enough to come back to just to see how bad it was.
Well, in terms of live action, you have a lot of good fan fan-made projects. There's one done on Dragon Ball Z called Light of Hope, which is based on the Future Trunks timeline. They've actually done a fantastic job with it. I highly recommend.
I really like Trunks as a character, and specifically Future Trunks. Just the whole arc with him coming back in time and trying to fix shit, and then shit's still fucked up in his timeline. And I was just like, I feel like that was like the peak of Dragon Ball storytelling was with Future Trunks
Possibly,
and all his shit going on. But I was gonna say something else about a different live action thing. Oh, actually, I like the live action Death Note, which is weird because it was nothing at all like the anime Death Note. But if you can like look at the live action Death Note and the anime Death Note and take them as totally separate, non-connected things, I think the live action Death Note is an okay like slasher horror flick, right? Like if you're looking at it and expecting it to be as like intense and deep critical thinking as the Death Note anime, you are in for nothing but letdown. But if you look at it as a totally different, unrelated thing that has nothing to do with that, then you'll have a good time. It's like, it's a fun slasher flick, and fucking, oh god, what's his name? The guy who plays Ryuk is also Green Goblin in the Spider-Man movies.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, yes. Just a fantastic actor in general. And he plays Ryuk so well that it's like that part translates really well from the Death Note anime.
Wow.
But if you take nothing else from the Death Note anime but Willem Dafoe's presentation of Ryuk, then you will walk away satisfied. But if you expect like L to be as good or Light to be as good or any of that, no, it's not going to work because it's a totally different, unrelated thing. But Willem Dafoe fucking kills it in this movie. Willem Dafoe kills it in everything. I just love him in everything.
Apparently, he's going to be in the next Spider-Man No Way Home as reprising his role as the Green Goblin.
That is cool.
And
I thought it was so cool that they got back Jameson, who is name also blanking me, but you know that actor that was playing
J.K. Simmons.
Yes,
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Yes. Yeah. Was also the voice of the head Airbender guy in The Legend of Korra, which was pretty fun. Tenzin, yeah. I haven't finished that, but I've been working my way through. I'm on season 4, so I'm like almost done, and it's like I think it's been actually better than I feel like most people give it credit for. It's been pretty good. So anyways, should we move to our final segment of the podcast where we just talk about inane bullshit, which I feel like we've been doing for 10 or 20 minutes anyway. So we talk about inane bullshit until somebody says something really awkward, and then I cut off the podcast. Hey, look, a wife.
Sassafras.
Hello.
Well, that's kind of awkward, but I'm not sure it's like cut off the podcast awkward. Anybody else like sassafras?
I don't even fucking know what sassafras.
Sassafras is a type of tree which the root is used for in root beer often. Yes. They call it sarsaparilla, which is actually written Sarsaparilla. So if you actually pronounced it as it is written, it would be sarsaparilla, not sarsaparilla. That is a weird thing I know, because my grandfather used to love root beer, and he would never call it root beer. He would always say, I want to go out for a sarsaparilla. And nobody would have any idea what the fuck he was talking about, except like back in his day, probably. Back in his day, they would probably know. But like in my day, nobody knew what a sarsaparilla was. If you said sarsaparilla, there's like a 7% chance that people would know that that relates to root beer. But like, who knows that the word sarsaparilla relates to root beer, right? Like, we're millennials. We don't know stuff.
Yeah, I've never heard of that, but it's a weird, fun topic.
Yeah. You like root beer chips?
Sure, why not?
You didn't think the podcast was gonna go this direction, did you?
Definitely didn't. But on that note,
Usmania, you don't drink like beer, so you probably like root beer, right?
Nope.
Did
Not my
Chris
type of
just
thing.
log off?
I think he just, yeah.
Oh, there
Came
he's back. I was like,
I lost
Back in.
connection.
okay, I was like, did Chris just log off in the middle of a podcast? What a dick.
I was just like, fuck this, I'm done.
I don't want to talk about root beer anymore, guys. Bye.
No, it's Discord shut down on me for a second.
Huh. Weird. What'd you do
My
that for?
internet is going. My internet is jerking off.
How does internet jerk off?
well, that's the weird thing, right? That was the cue. So, yeah, it's been fun, guys. Gotta do it again
I guess we
sometime.
forgot our self-promotion kind of plug at the end. So, Chipz, at least plug your website, because you've got some interesting
Oh.
articles up on there lately, and you also do a YouTube thing.
Oh, yeah. The website is chipznstix.com. ChipzNstix.com.
Yeah. So it's just
And,
like I have him, if you're watching the YouTube version here, I have him. I'll also put a link in the audio versions if you're listening on the Podbean. So check him out.
Yes. And, yeah, you can find, pretty much everything on there. And, thanks for having me on. It's been fun. And, we gotta do this again sometime.
Yeah. Anytime you're willing to come drink with us, we'll drink to drinking to drink. Drink. Of a sign. It says drink.
Gotcha.
It's my favorite part of the podcast. That's literally the only reason I have a podcast is so I can drink. I'm such a sorry. So let's. Anyway, Usmania, so plug your shit. You do stuff on TwoGuysPlayingZelda.com and TGPZGaming.com with me. And is there anything else you want to plug, or go ahead and tell them what you
Well,
do?
My major thing is fan fiction, and it's around Legend of Zelda. So the main fan fiction that I've written, and it's a kind of pitching a trilogy for the Legend of Zelda live action film. So it's kind of the first part is based on Triforce of Courage, and then the second is Triforce of Power, then the third one is Triforce of Wisdom.
Beer! Oh,
So
no,
it's-
not
so
the
it's kind of
Triforce
like-
of Beer, it's the Triforce of Wisdom. Sorry.
Triforce of Wisdom. So it's basically kind of like its original story and its own universe, but there's plot points which are inspired by different Zelda games. So if you're like a traditional Zelda fan, you were going to the cinema to watch it, you'd be like, I remember that's from Twilight Princess, or that's from Ocarina of Time. But it's its own complete story, and it's some original characters who are actually based on some characters from the original games. So for example, there's one Gerudo character who's based on Nabooru and Urbosa, a mixture of both. And then there's just original plot points as well, but it's my main kind of fan fiction that I wrote. So if you want to read that anytime, if you've got enough time to read it, so just go on to twoguysplayingzelda.com. And then also I write articles for TGPC Gaming, as Spammerman mentioned. So I've written one on Spider-Man being the best story in terms of the PS4 game. And yeah, that's all I can remember off the top of my head. It's about 7 a.m. here. And
My
I'm falling
favorite
asleep. You can...
Spider-Man was the 90s cartoon. Yeah.
Yep. In a nutshell.
I do like the PS4 game. It's pretty good. I got Miles Morales, but I've been putting it on the back burner for Ghost of Tsushima. So
That he's been playing every single time that the kids are asleep. Or at school. Like, doesn't matter what needs to be done.
it somewhat matters. I take out the trash and shit. Come on, man.
Video games before life.
This is my wife. She's been playing Pokemon Snap. Tell us about it.
Oh, okay. So it's a little clunky, and
Poop.
just because I feel like I'm looking at Dead Space a lot more than I would like to, rather than yes, it's pretty, Dead Space, but there's no Pokemon in the space. There's this one thing that's a little annoying where I want to it tells you about the Pokemon, but it doesn't really tell you about the Pokemon. It's like, this is what the Pokemon is that you've, known since you were, 7 years old. No, 8 years old. I was 8-year-old when it came out. But when Pokemon came out. But anyways, this is what it is. And I'm like, yes, but can you tell me any facts about that Pokemon? Am I getting a good picture? No. Oh.
This is Squirtle. It squirts and is a turtle.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't even. It just said Squirtle. It just says Squirtle. It's stupid. But I like it, and it's pretty. It's very, very, very.
It's also kind of hard to tell
pleasing.
because you're literally in, right?
Yeah,
But-
literally,
so
I played it for 30 minutes at work, and then my boss laughed at me, and the teenagers laughed at me.
You're like, fuck you, teenagers. You wish you had a Switch. You
Stupid Gen Z. They don't understand Pokemon.
So is it worth the buy then for me to go out and get it today?
Do you like Pokemon?
Yes, I'm a big fan of Pokemon.
Then yes. Did you like the
Fantastic.
original Pokemon Snap?
Yes, I loved it.
Then I think you will like it. I haven't
Great.
played the Pokemon Snap since I was 12.
How should
I
I
was
know?
12.
I wasn't there.
When did it come out, Sean?
1999.
I was
believe.
9 years old. So probably since I was 10. I haven't played it since I was 10. But I think it was fun.
I played it when I was a teenager with Chris one time. We talked about it earlier on the podcast, and now we're telling the same story again, which means we have to drink! Want to
Out
drink?
of beer.
Oh my god.
There's a hard seltzer in the fridge.
I think the top guy's just done.
Chips is
Are
like,
you-
what
are
the
you
fuck's
done?
going on?
Hi, I'm April.
This is Chips.
Hey.
This is my
Chips.
buddy Chips.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Okay, I'm gonna go play Pokemon Snap until you go to sleep.
Pokemon Slap?
So that sounds like a fun game. I've already slapped
That
you
does
though.
actually.
Is that code?